Chapter 1006. The only mission of a chaotic celestial body is to become the controller of chaos, and everyone will stop you from achieving this goal, including the ruler of the world, heaven, because no one wants to be controlled by you. In the saints' world, many top saints want to kill heaven. They often find out about each other because they don't want heaven to control their fate. As the ruler of the world, heaven only likes to rule over all living things and doesn't want his fate to be controlled by others. Therefore, once he finds out that you are a chaotic celestial body, he will definitely kill you immediately. Therefore, you'd better use the heavenly punishment token sparingly. If you use it too much, heaven will discover your secret. At that time, you will probably be killed by heaven before you can become a saint. Because a chaotic celestial body is destined to become the controller of chaos. Murong Yu's voice rang in Murong Yu's ears word by word, so clear and powerful. Murong Yu thought of another question. Then, was Zhao Yun killed by heaven? Heaven didn't do anything to any of the chaotic celestial bodies. But they all died because of heaven. So, even if you don't want to become the controller of chaos, heaven is still your enemy. If you don't kill him, he will kill you. It's that simple. A bitter expression appeared on Murong Yu's face. You're forcing me to kill the heavens. Well, in order to be able to kill heaven in the future, I'll go raise my cultivation level first. With a thought, Murong Yu came to the chaotic secret ground again. Swish. Lu Haotsang had already noticed Murong Yu when he entered the chaotic secret ground. Immediately, he crossed hundreds of millions of space-time with a step and appeared beside Murong Yu. Then he looked at Murong Yu expectantly. Don't ask. I've never heard of those ordinary materials of yours. I don't have any clues. Seeing Lu Haotsang's expression, Murong Yu knew what he was thinking, so he said directly. Lu Haotsang sighed, but he wasn't too disappointed. After all, those things were considered rare in the saints' world and extremely difficult to find in the God world. All of a sudden, Lu Haotsang's eyes flashed with a bright light. He looked at him with a burning expression. After a long time, he said in shock, "Your physical body has broken through again? A body at the level of a peerless divine artifact." Lu Haotsang was shocked, extremely shocked. He was definitely the first person in the history of the divine world to have a body at the level of a peerless divine artifact. In fact, he might even be the only person in the history of the divine world who could achieve such a level. No matter how strong a person was, their physical body was generally not strong. Most of them only maintained the level of an ordinary divine body. The so-called divine body was the body of a deity. While condensing a godhead, he would also condense a divine body. As for the divine body of this deity, most people would not be able to continue improving it to the level of a low-grade divine artifact. In the divine world, there was no lack of experts who possessed a low-grade divine artifact body. There were also those who possessed a mid-grade divine artifact body. However, it was extremely rare for someone to reach this level. It was basically impossible to find a high-grade god artifact. However, Murong Yu's body had surpassed the level of a supreme divine artifact and reached the level of a peerless divine artifact? Did that mean that Murong Yu could still improve it to the level of a sacred divine artifact in the future? Or even reach the level of a sacred body in the divine world? A sacred body was like a deity. It was condensed at the same time when one became a saint. The body of an ordinary saint could only reach this level. It was even stronger than a sacred divine artifact body. That was because it was the sacred body of a saint. In fact, Lu Haotsang could already imagine the level of Murong Yu's body once he entered the saint's world. Wouldn't it be the same as it was now? In fact, what Lu Haotsang did not know was that Murong Yu's chaotic celestial body constitution was a part of his cultivation. The physical body and power were balanced and equally strong. Otherwise, how could he be called a supreme body constitution? Your physical body is much stronger than mine. Do you have to be so surprised? Morong Yu looked at Lu Haotsang speechlessly. He felt that Lu Haotsang was making a fuss over nothing. Lu Haotsang was speechless. He was an undead saint. His sacred body was definitely much stronger than theirs. However, his physical strength was only in the normal range. Morong Yu's was too abnormal. Seeing Morong Yu sit down cross-legged on the spot, Lu Haotsang asked in confusion, "What are you doing?" "Cultivating and breaking through to the next level. If you have nothing else to do, you can go back and continue to stay." "You're going to break through again?" Lu Haotsang was shocked again. He still remembered that not long ago, Morong Yu was only in the heavenly god realm when he first entered. He had not even reached the over-god realm. In just tens of thousands of years, he had gone from the heavenly god realm to the over-god realm, the heavenly lord realm, and was even going to break through to the heavenly king realm? In less than 100,000 years, Morong Yu had broken through 3 or 4 major realms. In such a short period of time, most people could not even increase their strength by a little. Monster. Abnormal. In an instant, only these 2 words appeared in Lu Haotsang's mind. Only these 2 words could describe Morong Yu. Morong Yu immediately showed a bitter expression. "My speed of improvement is too slow. I don't know when I can break through to the heavenly emperor realm." Hearing Morong Yu's words, Lu Haotsang almost could not help but slap him to death. In less than 100,000 years, he had crossed several major realms. Now, he was lamenting the slow speed of his breakthrough? If this was considered slow, then all the other cultivators in the world could go. However, what Lu Haotsang did not know was that Morong Yu was telling the truth. It was very easy for him to raise his realm, even to the peak of the heavenly king realm. However, it would be difficult to break through to the heavenly emperor realm. Unless the chaotic celestial body record also broke through during this process, it would be extremely difficult for him to break through to the next realm. Ignoring the shocked Lu Haotsang, Morong Yu began to devour the surrounding chaotic airflow and began to refine it to raise his realm. After the chaotic celestial body record broke through, as long as Morong Yu had enough strength, he could push his realm to the heavenly king realm. And the chaotic energy here was incomparably dense. Therefore, it only took him a few hundred years to successfully break through to the heavenly king realm. However, after he broke through, Lu Haotsang realized that he did not stop absorbing the chaotic energy. Lu Haotsang did not mind. He only thought that Morong Yu wanted to consolidate his realm. However, he was surprised to see that Morong Yu's realm was quickly consolidated, but he still did not stop absorbing the chaotic energy. Is he going to break through to the mid-stage of the heavenly king realm in one fell swoop? Lu Haotsang thought in shock. Morong Yu gave him a very clear answer. He was indeed trying to break through to a higher realm. Another few hundred years later, his realm was broken through to the mid-stage of the heavenly king realm in one fell swoop. Then, he continued to break through to the late stage of the heavenly king realm. Crazy! Crazy! Lu Haotsang felt that his understanding had been shattered by Morong Yu. How could anyone break through to the late stage of the heavenly king realm in one fell swoop? This was the heavenly realm, not a place like the cultivation world. He's a freak. He's a monster. He can't be looked at as an ordinary person. Even though Lu Haotsang was a super expert of the undead realm, he still felt that he had been hit by Morong Yu. Moreover, it was the kind of hit that had been beaten black and blue. After a full 2,000 years, Morong Yu finally opened his eyes. And his realm had also risen from the peak of the heavenly monarch realm to the peak of the heavenly king realm. Although this chaotic secret land is good and can provide a lot of chaotic power, however, it doesn't have much effect on space and lightning divinity. Morong Yu stood up and sighed again. Lu Haotsang once again had the urge to slap Morong Yu to death. However, he still managed to hold himself back. Murong Yu was able to break through to the peak of the Heavenly King realm from the early stage of the Heavenly King realm in 2000 years. This speed was already unprecedented. He still wanted to break through to the peak of the Heavenly King realm at the same time? At this moment, a phrase flashed in Lu Haozong's mind. A man who is never content is like a snake trying to swallow an elephant. This sentence should be very appropriate to describe Murong Yu at this time. Lu Haozong, do you know where there is a secret land with a lot of thunder and lightning power? Seeing Lu Haozong's envious and jealous eyes, Murong Yu asked as if he didn't notice. I don't know, Lu Haozong said straightforwardly. It's a pity, otherwise lightning divinity could also break through to the peak of the Heavenly King realm. Murong Yu sighed again, making Lu Haozong's face darken again. You can leave here, Lu Haozong said with a dark face. He found that as long as Murong Yu stood in front of him, he would think of the scene of Murong Yu quickly breaking through to the next realm. When he thought of that scene, he couldn't help but compare it with his own cultivation speed. Then, he would be constantly attacked. Therefore, he immediately wanted to drive Murong Yu away, so as not to see him looking for a blow. Murong Yu rolled his eyes and ignored Lu Haozong. Instead, he muttered in his heart, there are many secret lands in the divine realm. I wonder if Primeval College has a secret land with thunder and lightning power? Or do other forces have them? Because of the primal chaos god lattice, Murong Yu didn't have to worry about the primal chaos energy when he was in the divine realm. As for the space god lattice? As long as Murong Yu was in this world, he didn't have to worry about not having enough space energy for him to devour. On the other hand, lightning divinity was hard to break through to the next realm. He had to find a secret land with lightning divinity. Murong Yu thought in his heart. Then, his figure flashed and he left the primal chaos secret land. Time to cultivate. Seeing Murong Yu leave, Lu Haozong finally felt that the blow to him wasn't as strong as before. His figure flashed and he also disappeared. At this moment, Murong Yu appeared in Qingqing City again. His entire body was filled with demonic qi and his appearance had changed. The news of him obtaining the Yin-Yang Cauldron had probably spread throughout the divine realm. As for his appearance, he believed that many people had already remembered it in their hearts. If he dared to strut around in Azure City at this time, he didn't doubt that everyone in Azure City would swarm him. Chapter 1007. Heaven is my enemy. One day, he'll find out that I'm a chaotic celestial body and fight me. Should I continue using it? After leaving Qingqing, Murong Yu was a little hesitant. Killing evil men and earning divine points could allow them to quickly grow stronger. This was extremely tempting to Shaochen. If he earned enough divine points now, he could even comprehend the 6th level of the chaotic celestial body record. At that time, his strength could even break through to the celestial master realm or even the quasi-saint realm. However, if heaven knew that he was a chaotic celestial body, he would be dead with a thought. It seems that I'll have to use it less in the future. I'll suppress the heavenly punishment token in Hichu Luoshu. I wonder if heaven knows that I'm a chaotic celestial body after using it so many times? Murong Yu frowned. He was still a little nervous. After all, other than the chaos controller, the ruler was the most powerful. From the celestial realm to the mortal world, he ruled over everything. Hichu, what do you think the heart of the demon clan is? Could it be in existence like the chaotic celestial body? Will heaven find it and destroy it? He had heard the beast god say that as long as the heart of the demon clan did not die, the demon clan would not be destroyed. The heart of the demon clan could be anything. Could it be that the heart of the demon clan could really threaten the ruler of heaven? Besides, heaven itself did not know where the heart of the demon clan was. Perhaps heaven was unable to destroy the heart of the demon clan and wanted to use Murong Yu to destroy it. After thinking about it, Murong Yu's figure flashed and disappeared. When he reappeared, he was already back in Primeval College. He had just come out of his courtyard. Murong Yu usually teleported directly to his room when he returned to Primeval College. Hichu had set up layers of restrictions in that room. Ordinary people could not break them. Naturally, no one would know that he had teleported back. As soon as he left the courtyard, Murong Yu saw a familiar face. When he saw it, he was shocked. He thought that he had seen wrongly. "Ah, pervert, you've finally appeared?" Seeing Murong Yu suddenly appear, Kurlan let out a cry of surprise. Then, her figure flashed and she rushed to Murong Yu's side. She looked at Murong Yu in shock. She was probably wondering when Murong Yu would come back. Murong Yu did not answer Kurlan's question. Instead, he asked, "How did you get into Primeval College?" Are you looking down on me? I'm also a student of Primeval College." Kurlan puffed out her chest and said proudly. "You became a student of Primeval College? Are you in preschool?" Murong Yu was stunned. Although Kurlan's strength had improved a lot, she still hadn't reached the Sky Realm. Since when did Primeval College start accepting students under the Sky Realm? Although he didn't know what preschool meant, it probably wasn't anything good. Therefore, Kurlan was depressed. She glared at Murong Yu with her big watery eyes. "Pervert, are you looking down on me?" Murong Yu stared at Kurlan for a while. Finally, he nodded and said honestly, "Yes, you're right. Pervert, I'll bite you to death." While speaking, Kurlan's figure flashed and she pounced on him. Then, she hung on Murong Yu's body and didn't come down. Murong Yu's body stiffened. The smile on his face also stiffened. After a long time, he said, "I'm a married man." Bah! Kurlan fell down as if she had been electrocuted. Her face was red as she turned around and ran away. Murong Yu strode up and asked, "How are Fan Tong and the others?" "Fan Tong is also here." Kurlan slowly calmed her little heart that was beating like a deer, and then she said. Murong Yu was surprised. "Don't tell me you all came?" Murong Yu referred to them. In addition to Kurlan and Fan Tong, there were also the 3 sisters of the Ouyang family. We all came in. However, in addition to me and Fan Tong, Sister Ouyang Fei and the others are very strong. Speaking of this, Kurlan felt very depressed. "Let's go and talk to Fan Tong and the others." Murong Yu originally planned to immediately find Xiang Sungwu to inquire about the Thunder Secret Plane after coming back, but after meeting Kurlan and the others, he changed his mind. As for Shengzhen's side, since the experts of the Celestial Palace were killed in the Thunder Secret Plane, no demon race came to attack Shengzhen. Therefore, Murong Yu did not plan to go back for the time being. Kurlan pouted her small mouth, looking unhappy. However, she still took Murong Yu to the courtyard of Fan Tong and the others. The few of them lived nearby. Lan Kier had gone to Murong Yu's courtyard for a stroll because she had some ulterior motive. Coincidentally, she had bumped into him. "The big pervert is back." As soon as they entered the courtyard, Kurlan shouted, and her voice spread out of the courtyard and far away. For a time, countless divine wills extended from all directions, wanting to see which big pervert was back. However, when they saw Murong Yu, their divine wills retreated like the tide. What a joke! Who was Murong Yu? He was the first among the new students. If he was only the first among the new students, these people would definitely not be afraid of him. However, the news that Murong Yu had obtained a sacred weapon in the demon race's territory had already spread. Murong Yu had a sacred weapon on him, and that sacred weapon was in existence that could easily kill experts like Quasi-Saint. Even if Murong Yu could not activate its full power, wouldn't it be more than enough to kill them? Therefore, when they saw that it was Murong Yu, the divine wills of the people behind did not dare to look over. However, Kurlan blushed. She did not expect that these people would be so gossipy. "Haha! Murong Yu, long time no see. You're getting more and more perverted." Fan Tong strode out of the house, laughing as he walked towards Murong Yu. Murong Yu's face suddenly darkened. "What do you mean by perverted? And it's getting more and more perverted?" people who don't know would really think that Morong Yu is a pervert. The people who asked could not help but chuckle. Am I right? You are indeed very perverted. Fan Tong laughed. Morong Yu's face darkened even more. One called him a big pervert, and the other called him a pervert. It would be strange if others did not misunderstand. What's the matter with you guys? Why did you all come to Primeval College? After sitting down, Morong Yu glanced at them and asked. These people's backgrounds were very terrifying. There was no need for them to join Primeval College. However, now that they all joined Primeval College, something must have happened. The God Realm is going to change, Fan Tong said with a sigh. Change? Morong Yu did not understand. The demon race is going to wage war against the human race. Over the years, the demon race has constantly infiltrated the human continent and killed the human race's powerhouses everywhere. Of course, the human race's powerhouses have also rushed to the demon race's realm and started a massacre. The God Realm is going to be in chaos, and this is just the beginning of the chaos. Once the time is right, the demon race will directly wage war against the human race. Morong Yu frowned slightly and asked, why would the demon race want to wage war? Everyone occupies half the sky, and the well water does not interfere with the river water. Fan Tong shook his head. How could he know these secrets? Perverted thief, did you really manage to snatch a saint artifact? Let us see. Kurlan suddenly said after chatting with everyone for a while. That was mine to begin with, Morong Yu said with a dark face. At the same time, he took out the yin-yang cauldron. Since many people had seen it, he did not mind taking it out. As long as no one else discovered the secret of the yin-yang cauldron. Is this a sacred artifact? It's no different from a divine artifact. Kurlan directly took the yin-yang cauldron in her hands and played with it. This is something that can even kill Quasi-Saint. You have to be careful, otherwise we're all finished. Seeing Kurlan playing with the yin-yang cauldron, Fan Tong was a little frightened. Don't worry, it won't hurt you, Morong Yu said with a smile. After half a day, Morong Yu bid farewell to everyone and came to Xiang Sungwu's house. Then, under the envious eyes of many students, he swaggered into Xiang Sungwu's courtyard. Brat, you're finally willing to come back? Xiang Sungwu's voice sounded. Then, Morong Yu stepped into the hall. Your strength has improved again, not bad. However, Brat, although you obtained the sacred artifact this time and safely retreated, you're still dangerous. But you're too dangerous like this. Xiang Sungwu first praised Morong Yu, then said with a gloomy face. Morong Yu felt a warm current in his heart. He knew that Xiang Sungwu was concerned about him. However, he just smiled faintly on the surface and sat down directly. Then, he said, Aren't I fine? And I never do things that I'm not sure of. Xiang Sungwu looked at Morong Yu, then finally couldn't help but ask, At that time, how did you leave? It's a secret. Xiang Sungwu's face suddenly darkened. However, he didn't continue to ask. After all, everyone had some secret. However, Morong Yu's secret was something he could use to escape. Once it was leaked, it would be extremely disadvantageous for Morong Yu. By the way, how did the humans react to me obtaining the sacred artifact? Morong Yu asked. Xiang Sungwu's face flashed with a cold smile. How do you think they should react? Although those people were intimidated by Primeval College and didn't dare to do anything openly, you still have to be careful. Once you find that kind of person, just kill them. How dare they attack the people of Primeval College? They really don't know what's good for them. However, Primeval College supports you, so you don't have to worry. Is that so? Morong Yu sneered in his heart. It wasn't that he didn't believe Xiang Sungwu. It was just that he obtained the sacred artifact after all, and it was normal for others to give it to him. By the way, does Primeval College have a lightning secret area? Xiang Sungwu frowned slightly. Primeval College doesn't have a lightning secret area, but Abyssal College has one. Chapter 1008. In the God realm, there are many secret planes like this. Some of the secret planes that have been discovered are in the hands of the 4 great academies or the major forces of the 4 continents, and become their private property. Abyssal College controls a lightning secret plane. The lightning secret plane is full of violent lightning power, and ordinary people can't go in at all. Only some experts of Abyssal College, who cultivate lightning divinity, dare to go in to temper their bodies. However, in the world, how many people can directly absorb lightning to enhance their strength like Murong-yu? Murong-yu frowned slightly. Abyssal College is one of the 4 great academies of the human race. But will they let Murong-yu go in? Obviously, this is impossible. For example, Primeval College will not let people from other academies enter the gravity secret plane. Only Abyssal College has a similar secret plane? Murong-yu looked at Xiang Sungwu and asked with a frown. Xiang Sungwu nodded slightly. Murong-yu felt a headache. If Maoku has the power of lightning, how can he quickly improve the power of lightning divinity? With the power of the heavenly tribulation? Every time Murong-yu makes a breakthrough, there will be heavenly tribulation. However, with his current physical strength, those heavenly tribulations can't even temper his body, and can only slightly improve the power of lightning divinity. I'll discuss it. Maybe you can get the qualification to enter the secret plane with some price. Xiang Sungwu pondered for a moment, and then disappeared in a flash. Murong-yu's eyes flashed with a cold light, but he still sat in the same place and didn't leave. Half a day later, Xiang Sungwu came back. His face was light and calm, and no one could see anything strange. Abyssal College agrees to let you cultivate in the thunder and lightning secret plane for 10,000 years. In exchange, we will also open the gravity secret plane to them and allow a student of Abyssal College to enter. Murong-yu frowned again. Abyssal College agreed just like that? Very straightforward. If Murong-yu had been in Primeval College, he definitely wouldn't have agreed so confidently. After all, Murong-yu was the #1 freshman of Primeval College. He had single-handedly crushed all the freshmen of Primeval College, forcing Abyssal College to give the title of the top of the 4 colleges to Primeval College. This was not only about the ranking but also a large amount of resources. Moreover, Murong-yu had seized the sacred artifact. Why did Murong-yu want to enter the secret lightning zone? It was obvious that he wanted to raise his cultivation level. Would the people of Abyssal College allow Murong-yu to raise his strength quickly? At the very least, Murong-yu wouldn't have agreed so readily. Even if he agreed, he would have blackmailed Primeval College. Then, the other party agreed so readily. Therefore, Abyssal College might be harboring evil intentions. It's very likely that it's disadvantageous to you, so you have to decide whether to go or not. However, I personally and Primeval College suggest that you don't go, Xiang Sungwu said slowly with a solemn look in his eyes. However, Murong-yu laughed. In the demon realm, they can't do anything to me when facing the quasi-saint, who is almost all the demons, let alone Tianhuang mainland. If Tianhuang mainland really doesn't know what's good for them, I don't mind making them disappear in the long river of history. As he spoke, Murong-yu's body surged with killing intent. However, it shocked Xiang Sungwu beside him. Given Murong-yu's strength, if he could really grow, it would not be a problem for him to destroy Abyssal College. Not long after, Murong-yu set off with Xiang Sungwu and the others. Apart from Xiang Sungwu, there were 2 other quasi-saint level experts traveling with them. One could only imagine how important Murong-yu was to Primeval College. However, Murong-yu could not even see the faces of these 2 quasi-saint, and they did not speak along the way. What made Murong-yu most speechless was that Xiang Sungwu did not introduce the identities of these 2 people, leaving Murong-yu confused. Star Desolate Continent, Star Desolate City. The teleportation formation flashed, and a group of 4 figures rushed out of it. Rumble, the moment these 4 figures appeared, a few huge hands tore through the firmament and reached down from the 9 heavens. Their aura soared to the sky, and their aura was violent. They erupted with a terrifying aura that could destroy heaven and earth, grabbing at these 4 people. 5 large hands. All of them were quasi-saint-level existences. At this moment, Morong Yu's expression changed slightly. This was because he felt that these 5 quasi-saint-level experts were coming for him. They wanted to seize the sacred artifact and kill Morong Yu. The 2 quasi-saint from Primeval College snorted coldly. They reached out their large hands, which transformed into the size of a sacred mountain, and met the large hands that were slapping down from the sky. Rumble. 5 against 2, it was obvious who had the upper hand. The large hands transformed by the 2 quasi-saint from Primeval College were shattered. On the other hand, the large hands that were reaching down from the sky paused for a moment, and then continued to slap down. At this moment, the entire star-desolate city was shrouded in a terrifying aura, drowning it. Feeling the terrifying aura that could destroy heaven and earth, everyone in star-desolate city was so scared that their bodies went limp. Bold scoundrels, how dare you intercept and kill the people from Primeval College? You're really courting death. A loud voice suddenly spread far and wide. Then, Morong Yu saw one of the quasi-saint from Primeval College soar into the sky and meet the large hands that were rapidly slapping down from the sky. Morong Yu was surprised. Just now, the 2 of them were not a match for these people even when they joined forces. Now, he was rushing up alone. Wasn't he courting death? Morong Yu was puzzled. He looked at Xiang Sungwu, who had a calm expression. Xiang Sungwu smiled faintly and said, "Watch carefully." Seeing Xiang Sungwu's calm and confident appearance, Morong Yu stopped talking and looked up at the sky. Boom! Suddenly, a blood-red light burst out from the body of the Primeval College quasi-saint that was flying up into the sky. After a loud noise, a violent smell of blood soared into the sky. With the Primeval College quasi-saint as the center, it swept out in all directions. At this moment, Morong Yu suddenly felt as if he had entered a pool of blood. The terrible smell of blood assaulted his nose, making him feel so uncomfortable that he wanted to vomit. In particular, the smell of blood carried an incomparably violent pressure and power that wanted to kill him. The bloody butcher! At this moment, a cry of surprise came from the sky. The bloody butcher was obviously the Primeval College's quasi-saint. Bloodhand Butcher! A trace of doubt flashed through Morong Yu's mind. He had seen the Bloodhand Devil Emperor before. However, no matter how strong the Bloody Hand was, he was only a celestial emperor. The Bloody Butcher was much stronger than him. The Bloody Butcher snorted coldly and stretched out his hand. It was so big that it seemed to cover half of the sky. Then, he fiercely grabbed it. With a swoosh, the 5 big hands that came crashing down from the sky were directly caught by him. Then, the Bloody Butcher's big hand fiercely squeezed, bang! With a loud sound, the 5 big hands all exploded. After crushing the 5 big hands in one go, the Bloody Butcher took a step forward and disappeared on the spot. Boom! When he reappeared, he was already far away on the horizon. After a loud bang, the sky shattered. A figure was actually thrown out of the void by the Bloody Butcher's punch. He spat out blood and flew backward. It was one of the 5 quasi-saint who had just attacked. At this moment, this quasi-saint looked at the Bloody Butcher with a face full of horror. His figure flashed, and he was about to escape. However, the Bloody Butcher snorted coldly and took a step forward. He was already by his side. His big hand quickly stretched out and caught the person before he could escape. The Bloody Butcher! You can't kill me. Otherwise, when the demon race attacks, the human race will burn a large part of their combat power. Quasi-Saint begged for mercy in horror. 10 pieces of trash like you can't compare to one of my hands. How dare you kill someone from Primeval College? You must be tired of living. The Bloody Butcher sneered and grabbed with his big hand. With a bang, this quasi-saint was crushed before he could even beg for mercy. Even his soul was dead. And all of you will die. The bloody butcher's cold voice, which contained a supreme killing intent, spread far and wide. Then, he stood on the spot and threw out 4 punches in different directions. Boom, 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 boom. The sky in the distance suddenly exploded. 4 figures fell out of the void and spat out blood. They were in a very sorry state. However, even so, they did not stop. They used their fastest speed to run for their lives. None of you can escape, the bloody butcher said indifferently. He took a step forward and crossed a great distance. He appeared behind a quasi-saint and threw out a punch with his invincible divine fist. Boom! That quasi-saint was immediately killed. He did not even have the chance to resist. Or rather, he did not even have the intention to resist. Who was the bloody butcher? How could he have such terrifying strength? Murong Yu was extremely shocked. Those 2 were quasi-saints. Even if they were the worst quasi-saint, they were still at the level of a quasi-saint and were extremely powerful. However, they were so weak in front of the bloody butcher. It was not that these quasi-saints were too weak. It was that the bloody butcher was too strong. The bloody butcher's strength was infinitely close to that of a saint. Otherwise, he would not have killed the quasi-saint like he was killing chickens. Murong Yu narrowed his eyes slightly. In his heart, he felt that the bloody butcher should have reached the level of a quasi-saint. While Murong Yu was pondering, the bloody butcher attacked again and again. In the blink of an eye, he had killed the other 3 quasi-saint. The bloody butcher was not injured. Those people did not even have the chance to fight back. They were completely frightened by the bloody butcher and were completely slaughtered by him. His ferocity was unparalleled. It was earth-shattering and intimidating countless experts. This was the bloody butcher. Chapter 1009. The Bloody Butcher. The bloody butcher had killed 4 quasi-saint level powerhouses within a few breaths of time, shocking the entire Star Wilderness continent. The news quickly spread throughout the 4 continents. The news of the bloody butcher's return to the Jianghu spread like wildfire, shocking countless people. Especially after witnessing the shocking scene of the bloody butcher killing 4 quasi-saint level powerhouses, many people were even more terrified of the bloody butcher. After killing the 4 quasi-saint level powerhouses, the bloody butcher retracted his aura and returned to his ordinary appearance. However, who would dare to treat him as an ordinary person? At this moment, the bloody butcher stood in the sky and slowly scanned his surroundings. That sharp gaze was like a saint-grade artifact that could cut through the firmament. Many powerhouses hidden in the dark could not help but tremble slightly, and a hint of fear appeared on their faces. Damn it, Primeval College actually sent the bloody butcher to escort Murong Yu. This shows how important Murong Yu is to Primeval College. Fortunately, I didn't make a move just now, or I would be the one dead. A quasi-saint hidden in the dark secretly wiped the cold sweat on his forehead, and said with lingering fear. If he had made a move just now, he would definitely have followed in the footsteps of the 4 quasi-saint level powerhouses and been killed by the bloody butcher. Killing these 4 people is just a warning. If something like this happens again, Primeval College will definitely pursue this matter to the end and kill all 9 generations of your family. The bloody butcher's cold voice spread far and wide, shaking the heavens and the earth. Those with bad intentions were so frightened that their faces turned pale, and they were extremely frightened. Kill all 9 generations of your family. Primeval College definitely had the ability to do so. Although the 4 quasi-saint level powerhouses had changed their appearances, Primeval College would definitely be able to quickly find out their identities. After saying that, the bloody butcher slowly walked down, and just like before, he did not say a word. However, everyone around him looked at the bloody butcher with fear in their eyes, and even invisibly retreated far away. Murong Yu, on the other hand, looked at the bloody butcher up and down with a curious gaze. Even Xiang Sungwu felt embarrassed looking at him. How could he look at someone so rudely? Moreover, that person was a big shot from Primeval College, a top quasi-saint level powerhouse. Kid, are you done looking? Just as Murong-yu was sizing up the Bloody Butcher suddenly said something that almost shocked Murong-yu. Senior, what kind of person are you? Murong-yu immediately asked. I'm just an ordinary person. The Bloody Butcher said indifferently, and then continued, All right, let's teleport back to Tianhuang mainland first. I hope this won't happen again, or else. Since they could not see the Bloody Butcher's face clearly, they could not see his expression. However, Murong-yu could sense an extremely strong killing intent from the Bloody Butcher. They immediately entered the teleportation formation and teleported back to Tianhuang mainland. Originally, Star Wilderness was a springboard for the 4 major continents. If they wanted to go to the other continents, they had to pass through here. Otherwise, they could only use wormholes. However, wormholes were a highly confidential secret that would never be exposed under normal circumstances. After Murong-yu and the others left, the people in Star Wilderness City slowly came to their senses. At this moment, someone asked in confusion, Who exactly is the Bloody Butcher? The Bloody Butcher was originally an assassin from another continent. He was cruel and bloodthirsty, and he was very powerful. He had killed countless people, so he was called the Bloody Butcher. However, it was also because of this that he had so many enemies. Almost everyone in the world was his enemy. Isn't he an assassin? How did he expose his identity? Someone asked in confusion. If he hadn't exposed his identity, he would probably still be an assassin now. It was because he exposed his identity that he was hunted down by countless people. Once, the Bloody Butcher was hunted down for 100 million years, but he was saved by a big shot from Primeval College when he was about to die. Then, he became a student of Primeval College. However, even though he was a student of Primeval College, he was still bloodthirsty. However, he only targeted those who had bad intentions towards Primeval College. Ever since the Bloody Butcher became a student of Primeval College, he killed many people who had bad intentions towards Primeval College. It wasn't until he became a quasi-saint that he slowly faded from people's sight. However, the experts of the older generation all know about the Bloody Butcher. Legend has it that he is now extremely close to becoming a saint, and he is almost invincible in the heavenly realm. Because he never leaves anyone alive when he attacks, countless people don't want to meet him. Now that this person has reappeared, he is actually escorting Murong-yu. Primeval College really takes good care of Murong-yu. Murong-yu's aptitude is just a little better, and he's just a little luckier. There's nothing special about him. Someone said disdainfully. If you have the aptitude and luck of Murong-yu, then the Bloody Butcher will probably protect you personally. If you don't have the aptitude, then you should obediently cultivate. An elder said indifferently as he slapped the person who was jealous of Murong-yu and sent him flying. The Bloody Hand. The person who scared even a quasi-saint to the point of fleeing. Was he just as that person said? Abyssal College was similar to Primeval College. When Murong-yu entered Abyssal College, he attracted many gazes. These gazes were filled with disdain, hatred, greed, and peace. There were all kinds of gazes. Murong-yu directly ignored these people. After all, he didn't come here to make friends with these people. He came here to cultivate. Senior Bloody Hand, I apologize for not coming out to meet you. Our dean has been waiting for a long time, please follow me. As soon as Murong-yu and his group entered Abyssal College, a quasi-saint level expert from Abyssal College came up to greet them with a warm smile. Murong-yu naturally knew that this guy wasn't here to greet him. If he came alone, Abyssal College would probably just send a random student to greet him. Moreover, there would probably be people who would constantly jump out to challenge him on the way. Murong-yu's guess was right. Abyssal College originally planned to do so. Although it was an exchange, Morong-yu had ruined their reputation and caused them to lose countless resources. It would be strange if they were nice to him. However, when the Bloody Hand killed 4 quasi-saints in Star Desolate City, the big shots from Abyssal College couldn't stay calm anymore. They sent a quasi-saint to wait at the entrance of the college to greet the Bloody Butcher. Who didn't know that the Bloody Butcher had a bad temper? If they were to provoke him, the entire Heaven Wasteland Academy would be thrown into chaos by him. Once an expert of that level went berserk, the Heaven Wasteland Academy would not be able to withstand his anger. Therefore, the Dean of Abyssal College personally came out to greet him. However, he didn't go out to greet him. Although the Bloody Butcher was strong, he wasn't the Dean of Primeval College. If the Dean of Abyssal College went out to greet him, it would be too grand. If word got out, people would say that Abyssal College was afraid of the Bloody Butcher. No need. Let Morong-yu enter the secret area to cultivate. Time is precious. The Bloody Butcher said indifferently. The quasi-saint of Abyssal College was in a difficult position. He didn't have the right to do so. Let him go out of the teleportation formation. At this moment, a voice sounded in the quasi-saint's ears. The quasi-saint immediately said, "Then, the 4 of you, please follow me." The quasi-saint of Abyssal College turned around and left. At the same time, he glanced at Morong-yu. Morong-yu frowned slightly. The quasi-saint's gaze seemed to have casually swept over him. It was very calm, as if nothing was wrong. However, Morong-yu sensed that there was another meaning in the quasi-saint's gaze. Does Abyssal College really dare to make a move in the secret area of the Lightning Zone? If that's the case, Abyssal College doesn't need to exist anymore. Morong-yu's eyes flashed as he followed the quasi-saint. Under the envious and hateful gazes of Abyssal College students, Morong-yu's group entered the depths of Abyssal College and came to a courtyard full of teleportation formations. When Morong-yu's group of 4 arrived, the Dean of Primeval College and other important people were already waiting there. The Bloody Butcher was welcomed. As for Morong-yu, they directly ignored him. Although Morong-yu was strong, he wasn't on the same level as them. Whether it was strength or status, he was far inferior to them. The Bloody Butcher didn't say a word. The other quasi-saint of Primeval College was even more so. Only Xiang Sungwu went up to greet them and exchanged pleasantries. Morong-yu, who was standing at the side, didn't say a word either. However, he often felt that many gazes seemed to inadvertently sweep past him. Morong-yu sneered in his heart. "The 4 of you, I have to make it clear in advance. The Lightning Zone is unusually violent, and even quasi-saint might die in there. Therefore, if something happens to Morong-yu in the secret area, it has nothing to do with us. I hope that Primeval College won't make things difficult for Tianwang Mainland because of that." Morong-yu sneered in his heart. These people were ready to make a move in the secret area of the Lightning Zone. Let's draw the line between us first. Even if they managed to kill Morong-yu, they could say that something unexpected had happened. If it's an accident, then there's nothing to say. However, if it's not an accident, The Bloody Butcher's voice was heard. It was very calm, but it shook the souls of everyone present. If something happens, all the treasures on Morong-yu's body will still belong to Primeval College. As for what treasures he has, we've already calculated them in detail before coming here. When the time comes, we'll have to trouble you guys from Abyssal College. Xiang Sungwu said calmly. Even if Morong-yu died, Primeval College had to take back his treasures. In other words, even if Abyssal College killed Morong-yu, they wouldn't get anything unless they wanted to start a war with Primeval College. Chapter 10:10. The teleportation formation flickered, and Morong-yu's figure disappeared from Abyssal College and was teleported to the lightning-restricted area. After Morong-yu left, the Bloody Butcher and Xiang Sungwu all sat cross-legged in the courtyard. Obviously, they were afraid that someone would go in to cause trouble and kill Morong-yu. In this regard, the people of Abyssal College were naturally very unhappy. The Bloody Butcher and the others did this, which clearly showed that they didn't trust Abyssal College. However, the people of Abyssal College gave up after a few words of persuasion, and let them be. You should be monitoring the lightning-restricted area, right? Why not monitor the whole process? Xiang Sungwu suddenly said. Our Abyssal College extremely respects the privacy of our students. None of the restricted areas will be monitored. Therefore, we can't see anything inside the restricted area. An important person of Abyssal College said in a deep voice. Xiang Sungwu and the others sneered in their hearts. Only ghosts would believe their words. However, since they said so, Xiang Sungwu and the others naturally wouldn't continue. The thunder and lightning dense ground was filled with all kinds of thunder and lightning energies. Bolts of lightning struck down from the void. From afar, this was simply a world of lightning. Every inch of space was filled with the power of lightning. When Murong-yu stepped out of the void, he felt as if he had entered a pool of lightning. Dense lightning power crazily attacked from all directions. Murong-yu's body was numb from the electricity. The clothes on his body were instantly blown to pieces by the lightning. With a thought, Murong-yu used his divine power to condense a set of clothes and put it on. At the same time, the lightning divinity began to operate. The energy that entered his body was absorbed by the lightning divinity and refined into pure lightning energy, increasing Murong-yu's strength. The power of lightning is too weak. I can't increase my strength here. I only have 10,000 years. I can only go deeper. Murong-yu looked around and found that the power of lightning was very weak. Obviously, the reason why this place was set up as a teleportation point was because it was relatively safe. This was because not everyone who entered the Thunder's secret ground was strong enough to fight against them. With a thought, Murong-yu soared into the air and shot towards the depths. At the same time when Murong-yu entered the Thunder's secret plane, several figures were lurking not far from the entrance, secretly watching Murong-yu. That little bastard has come in. Should we just kill him? Someone used their divine sense to communicate. I heard that he has the ability to kill people above his level. He can easily kill a heavenly king. Another person said in a deep voice. We are all in the heavenly emperor realm. Can't we kill him? Besides, we are not the only ones in the Thunder secret plane. There are also powerful heavenly venerables. This kid is dead. This little bastard has many magic treasures on him. As long as we kill him, the sacred tool will naturally belong to the college. But the other treasures will be owned by the person who kills him. We have to make a move first. Otherwise, if he is killed by others, we won't get anything. That's true. Several people discussed for a while, then soared into the air and chased after Murong-yu. At the same time, more people also found Murong-yu and attacked him one by one. Murong-yu stopped in the air with a frown on his face. He knew that he would definitely be harassed by the students of Abyssal College, but he didn't expect so many people to come at him at the same time. They were full of killing intent. They wanted to kill him. These people are too impatient. Murong-yu glanced at these people indifferently and sneered in his heart. Not only were these people impatient, but they were also weak. Some of them were in the Heavenly Emperor realm, and some were even in the Heavenly King realm. Murong-yu's primal god lattice had already reached the peak of the Heavenly King realm. He was extremely powerful and could kill people in the same realm with a punch. Once 2 of the 3 god lattices were activated, he could easily kill ordinary heavenly emperors. If he activated the power of soul chasing, killing a primordial god wouldn't be a problem. But there were no primordial god existences among these people. These people are courting death. Murong-yu hid the internal conflict and sneered. A trace of killing intent flashed across the depths of his eyes. However, he didn't go on a killing spree. His purpose in coming here was to improve his strength, not to kill. If he wanted to kill someone, he had to at least increase his strength. Otherwise, wouldn't this trip be a waste? Moreover, Murong-yu was sure that the people of Abyssal College were watching him, but the people of Primeval College definitely didn't know what was going on. These people might have been ordered by Abyssal College to charge at him. People of Primeval College? Kid, is this a place where you can enter? If you want to cultivate here, hand over a certain amount of treasures. Otherwise, you can leave this place right now. A heavenly emperor walked over and said coldly to Murong-Yu. He should be a 6th-year student of Abyssal College. Murong-Yu found it funny. Who do you think you are? The fact that I was able to enter this place was naturally because I obtained the approval of your Heaven Wasteland Academy. If you aren't afraid of death, then come with me. Before he finished speaking, Murong-Yu had already soared into the sky. He spread his angelic wings and turned into a stream of light, disappearing from everyone's sight. Rumble, just after he left, countless terrifying powers poured down. It was the people who had surrounded him that made their move first. However, what made them depressed was that Murong-Yu had already left before they could unleash their powers. In the end, they could only hit empty air. Chase after him. Everyone was enraged and they all chased after him. However, Murong-Yu's speed was extremely fast. Although he rushed up in a straight line, how could the people behind him be as fast as him? Damn, this bastard's cultivation level isn't high, but his body is so abnormal. The lightning power here is too terrifying. I can't go any further. Not long after, someone stopped. The lightning power was getting more and more terrifying. Some heavenly kings could no longer withstand the terrifying pressure. In the end, only those who had reached the heavenly emperor realm rushed in. However, they could only stop after a short while. They didn't dare to step into the lightning pool. A bunch of trash with just you guys? Murong-Yu's eyes flashed with cold killing intent. These people dared to intercept and kill him. They were already on his must-kill list. 10,000 years later, he would go on a killing spree and even take away this secret lightning plane. Didn't Abyssal College have designs on him? Then let Abyssal College go for wool and come home shorn. Su Hao's eyes flickered with a cold light. He accelerated towards the depth. This little bastard's speed and physical body are actually so strong. In a certain hall of Abyssal College, some big shots of Abyssal College looked at Murong-Yu in the huge mirror in front of the hall with gloomy expressions. Perhaps only heavenly venerables can kill an ancient god. However, this kid actually went deep into the lightning secret ground. He's simply courting death. These bastards were indeed watching Murong-Yu in the dark. Murong-Yu, where are you going? A figure suddenly appeared in front of Murong-Yu, blocking his path and saying with a murderous aura, "An ancient god." Murong-Yu's figure flickered, and he turned into a stream of light and rushed out from the side. Although the ancient god in front of him was 2 realms higher than him, Murong-Yu could kill him in a short period of time. However, once he killed this person, even more people would come to kill him. Once he was entangled, how would he have time to cultivate? Besides, once he killed more people, who knew if the big shots of Abyssal College would stop him? Thus, he avoided the primordial god and shot deeper into the primordial god. This time, he raised his speed to the limit and shook off the primordial god in the blink of an eye. This kid is quite cunning. He actually didn't make a move? A big shot of Abyssal College mocked. As long as he's in the lightning secret ground, he won't be able to escape our control. If we want him to die, he has to die. However, before that, we must make sure that he has a sacred artifact. Otherwise, our efforts will be in vain. Another big shot of Abyssal College said coldly. Whether or not he has a sacred artifact, we still need those students to try. I hope these guys don't disappoint us. Another big shot said indifferently. After the ancient god appeared, so did the celestial venerable powerhouses. However, Murong-Yu only focused on escaping. Moreover, the lightning power in the area where Murong-Yu was becoming more and more violent. Even those Empyrean powerhouses could no longer withstand the power of the lightning. How could their physical bodies compare to Morong Yu's freakish physical body? In the area where the celestial venerables had to use all their strength to resist, Morong Yu's speed was basically unaffected. With a swoosh, he left the celestial venerables in the dust. This caused the celestial venerables' faces to turn ashen. They wanted nothing more than to slap Morong Yu to death. Weren't they here to kill Morong Yu? Even Morong Yu's supreme divine artifact body was starting to feel strained as he sensed the increasingly violent lightning power. Even the quasi-saint will find it hard to resist now, right? But for safety's sake, I still need to go deeper. Seeing Morong Yu walk straight into the depths of the lightning's secret ground, the big shots of Abyssal College all had ugly expressions. Even a quasi-saint wouldn't necessarily be able to withstand the lightning in those areas. Just what level has this bastard's body reached? Is it a high or supreme divine artifact? A supreme divine artifact. Everyone was in disbelief. However, if it wasn't for his supreme divine artifact body, how could Morong Yu have gone so deep with his strength? Was it because of his sacred artifact? The eyes of the big shots of Abyssal College all shone brightly. Suddenly, a big shot on the level of a quasi-saint stepped forward and rushed out of the hall. Was he going to attack Morong Yu? Chapter 10-11. The secret plane controlled by each force had more than one entrance and exit. This was a defensive measure taken just in case. Some secret planes even had multiple entrances and exit. Except for the chaotic secret plane, which was jointly controlled by many forces. A quasi-saint from Abyssal College left the hall and rushed outside. Looking at his murderous look, it was almost certain that he was going to kill Morong Yu. However, this super expert was soon stopped. Don't be in a hurry to kill Morong Yu for now. Otherwise, Primeval College will definitely turn against us. Before Morong Yu entered the lightning secret plane, they had already emphasized that the lightning secret plane was full of unknown dangers. However, Morong Yu was very strong. How could he die as soon as he entered? If he really died, then even a blind person could tell that Abyssal College was the culprit. It won't be too late to do it after thousands of years. By then, Primeval College won't say anything. A big shot from Primeval College said faintly, his eyes flashing coldly. Therefore, the experts from Abyssal College didn't make a move for the time being, and those in the lightning secret plane couldn't get close to Morong Yu at all. This is it. Morong Yu tried his best to circulate the divine power in his body, frantically washing his body that had reached the level of a divine artifact. But even so, he was having difficulty moving at this time. The power of lightning was very violent. Even with Morong Yu's strength and incomparably tough body, he was about to reach his limit. At this time, small cracks began to appear on Morong Yu's extremely hard body. Even a trace of blood seeped out from his body. From afar, Morong Yu looked like a man covered in blood. Morong Yu found a suitable place and sat down directly. The extremely violent power of thunder and lightning constantly bombarded his body, and the result was completely different from that of the gravity secret ground. In the gravity secret plane, Morong Yu's body could be improved because of the constant destruction and recombination. But here, the power of lightning was too violent. Even after destruction and recombination, it couldn't improve his body much. This was because he had devoured both sides of the lightning. After all, Morong Yu came here mainly to improve his realm. Power of lightning, devour! After sitting down and adapting for a long time, Morong Yu shouted in his heart and began to devour the power of lightning. Therefore, under his active devouring, the power of lightning began to surge wildly. The lightning energy, which was already dense to begin with, became even denser at this moment, submerging Morong Yu's entire body. Looking from afar, he couldn't even be seen. His body was rapidly collapsing his body. However, the power of lightning absorbed by lightning divinity was extremely terrifying. Morong Yu's power of lightning began to improve rapidly at a speed visible to the naked eye. At the same time, Murong Yu's life force began to frantically cleanse the flesh that had been destroyed by the incomparably violent lightning energy. This way, Murong Yu could raise the realm of his physical body while increasing the power of his lightning energy. Although the speed of improvement was extremely slow and almost invisible, it was still an improvement after all. Abyssal College, in the main hall. When the big shots of Abyssal College saw Murong Yu submerged in the power of lightning, they were all stunned. Is this brat crazy? Even a quasi-saint wouldn't dare to do this there. A big shot at the level of a quasi-saint said with a shocked face. Crazy! Crazy! A little guy in the Lord of Heaven realm is actually so crazy. All of them were shocked, and those big shots who hadn't reached the Lord of Heaven realm were even more surprised. Because with their strength, it was impossible for them to go deep into the area where Murong Yu was. Not to mention being submerged by so much power of lightning. The big shots at the level of a quasi-saint from Abyssal College also had very ugly expressions. Their faces were gloomy, and they were all wondering if they should go in and kill Murong Yu. Otherwise, if Murong Yu continued to go deeper, even a quasi-saint wouldn't dare to go in. It should be known that although the power of lightning wasn't the power of tribulation lightning, it was still the power of lightning. Even so, they were still sky lightning. It was a power that all cultivators feared. Moreover, the power of lightning was extremely violent and difficult to defend against. Boom! While the people of Abyssal College were shocked, Murong Yu's body in the depths of the lightning's secret area shook violently, and a powerful aura burst out. This seemingly powerful aura was quickly submerged by the endless power of lightning. However, the people of Abyssal College still discovered it. Suddenly, their expressions became even more unsightly. Murong Yu's lightning divinity had broken through the peak stage of the Heaven Monarch realm and reached the early stage of the Heavenly King realm. He was originally known as the Lightning Divinity, so after the Lightning Divinity broke through, his cultivation level also rose to the early stage of the Heavenly King realm. Although his primal Chaos God Lattice had already reached the peak stage of the Heavenly King realm, he had been suppressing his cultivation level. It feels good to have such a powerful and boundless power to devour. Otherwise, God knows how long it would take for the Lightning Divinity to break through to the Heavenly King realm. Feeling the powerful power, Murong Yu stood up happily and continued to walk into the depths of the lightning's secret area. After breaking through, the power of lightning here was no longer suitable for him to devour. He needed to find a stronger power of lightning. This kid is advancing again. The big shots from Abyssal College gritted their teeth in anger. Originally, they only thought that Murong Yu would make use of this opportunity to break through to the early stage of the Heavenly King realm. Moreover, they didn't think that Murong Yu would be able to break through within 10,000 years. Therefore, when the Desolate Academy proposed to exchange secret planes, they immediately agreed without hesitation. However, when they saw that Murong Yu had broken through to the next realm in such a short time, they suddenly felt a little regretful and had a bad feeling. This was because they saw that the area Murong Yu had entered was a place that even the quasi-saint level experts of Abyssal College rarely stepped into. However, when they saw that Murong Yu seemed to be taking a stroll in the park, they were greatly shocked. Damn it, this kid is definitely going to die. I'm going to kill him now. One of the quasi-saint level experts was filled with killing intent as he stood up and was about to rush out. Wait a moment, let's see what this kid is doing. Another quasi-saint level expert shouted. Because at this time, Murong Yu was walking straight ahead with big strides. In the thunder and lightning secret area, Murong Yu's lightning divinity was trembling slightly. It seemed to be very excited. Would godhood be the same? Murong Yu had never heard of it, but at this time, the lightning divinity was indeed very excited. It seemed that there was something in front of them that was attracting the lightning divinity. Hichu, what's going on? Murong Yu stopped because the power of thunder and lightning in front of them was too violent. Although his resistance to the power of thunder and lightning has become stronger after his breakthrough, the power of thunder and lightning is also more violent than before. There seems to be something in front of us that is attracting the lightning divinity. Could it be the heart of thunder and lightning? Hichu's eyes flickered as he said in a deep voice, "What is the heart of thunder and lightning?" Murong-yu displayed his shameless spirit and quickly asked. "It is a special existence, like the mother of a divine crystal, that can give birth to the power of thunder and lightning. If you can get the heart of thunder and lightning and refine it into the lightning divinity, you won't have to worry about the power of thunder and lightning in the future." Murong-yu's eyes suddenly lit up as he looked ahead. This thunder and lightning secret area must have been formed because of the heart of thunder and lightning. If you take the heart of thunder and lightning, then this secret area will be ruined. Murong-yu laughed and said, "The people of Abyssal College actually dared to have ideas about me. I was still worried about how to make them go for wool and come home shorn. Now I'll go take the heart of thunder and lightning and let them cry. You should continue to increase your strength. Otherwise, you won't be able to get close to the depth. However, since you can sense the existence of the heart of thunder and lightning, it means that you are very close to it. The secret area should be reaching the end soon." "That's right." Murong-yu laughed and immediately sat down in a meditative position to crazily absorb the power of thunder and lightning. Murong-yu's cultivation was rapidly increasing, and this was a good thing for Murong-yu. However, it was not a good thing for the people of Abyssal College. What kind of monster is this brat? His cultivation speed is too terrifying. A big shot from Abyssal College said in a deep voice. At this time, no one dared to say that they wanted to enter the secret area to kill Murong-yu. This was because this was a place where the top experts would take action. Otherwise, an ordinary quasi-saint wouldn't be able to reach the area where Murong-yu was located. Even if they could reach that area, they wouldn't be able to kill Murong-yu. After all, they were able to enter the secret area because all their strength was used to defend against the violent power of thunder and lightning. How could they have any strength left to kill Murong-yu? Why do I feel like I've been deceived? A big shot from Abyssal College said in a speechless manner. They had sent a student to Primeval College, who was also in the early stage of the Heavenly Monarch realm and had also been there for 10,000 years. However, they didn't think that the student could break through to the Heavenly Monarch realm in 10,000 years. At this time, Murong-yu's cultivation was infinitely close to the middle stage of the Heavenly Monarch realm. This brat's cultivation won't keep increasing, right? Many big shots from Abyssal College had a bad feeling in their hearts. Maybe he can only reach the middle stage of the Heavenly Monarch realm. Someone said so, but his tone was uncertain. While the people from Abyssal College were feeling depressed, Murong-yu, who had been sitting on the ground and absorbing the power of thunder and lightning, stood up and roared. Middle stage of the Heavenly Monarch realm. It had only been 1,000 years since he entered the secret area of thunder and lightning. In 1,000 years, he had broken through the barrier of a major realm and advanced 2 minor realms. This speed made even the big shots from Primeval College jealous. Chapter 10-12. Middle Stage Heavenly King. After stabilizing his realm, Murong-yu once again walked into the depths of the Thunder secret ground. Seeing Murong-yu going deeper and deeper, many big shots of Abyssal College looked gloomy and murderous. One reason was that they felt that they had been cheated by Primeval College. It had only been 1,000 years, but he had risen from the peak of the Heavenly Monarch realm to the middle stage Heavenly King realm. Another reason was Murong-yu's monstrous talent. Wasn't that too terrifying? He was already so terrifying before he even grew up. Once he grew up, wouldn't the entire heavenly realm belong to him? Even if he couldn't dominate the world, with such a monstrous talent in Primeval College, Abyssal College could only be suppressed by Primeval College for a long time and never be able to rise again. This kid must be killed. Everyone from Abyssal College looked at Morong Yu with murderous eyes. They couldn't wait to slap Morong Yu to death. However, none of them could go deep into the area where Morong Yu was now. Only people at the level of the Bloody Butcher could do it. However, would such a person kill Morong Yu? Maybe. However, the experts at Abyssal College's level were all in seclusion to break through to the Sage Realm. They didn't have time to care about such things. Every time Morong Yu reached his limit, he would stop and sit on the ground to cultivate. Then, when his strength increased and he could withstand more pressure, he would continue to move forward. Just like that, as time passed, Morong Yu went deeper and deeper into the Thunder's secret ground, and his strength became stronger and stronger. Finally, on the 5,000th year since he entered the Thunder's secret ground, he successfully broke through to the late-stage Heavenly King realm. Seeing this, the people from Abyssal College gnashed their teeth in anger. However, they could do nothing but feel anxious. After breaking through to the peak of the Heavenly King realm, the power in Morong Yu's body was extremely strong. Although it was still speechless when compared with the power of thunder and lightning of the Thunder and Lightning secret ground, it was much stronger than the powerhouses of the same realm. At this moment, every inch of Morong Yu's flesh and bones were not only burning with the flame of primal chaos, but there were also traces of the power of lightning, the power of black lightning. The two completely different types of energy were clearly separated in Morong Yu's body, and they minded their own business. In fact, there was also the power of space. However, the spatial godhead was still at the heavenly monarch realm, and it couldn't compare to the power of the other two godheads. Not far ahead should be the end of this secret lightning zone, right? The thunderbolt core should be there. Morong Yu frowned as he looked at the extremely violent thunderbolt force in front of him. They were only one step apart, but the gap between them was like heaven and earth. In the area where Morong Yu was, although the thunderbolt force was violent, it was still within his range of tolerance. However, as long as he took a step forward, the violent thunderbolt force in front of him was very likely to tear him to shreds. It was a place that even 10th-level quasi-saints did not dare to enter, not even daring to take half a step into the lightning pool. It was the most dangerous place in the entire secret lightning zone. Even Abyssal College didn't know what was inside. Late-stage Heavenly King realm, this kid is really something, a big shot from Abyssal College sneered. What is he going to do? Is he going to enter that dangerous place? Another big shot frowned. Hearing this, everyone looked at Morong Yu's appearance in the mirror, and a worried look appeared on their faces. They weren't afraid that Morong Yu would enter that dangerous place and discover some secret. In fact, they didn't know what was inside because they couldn't see at all. However, they were worried. That was a place that even a 10th order quasi-saint wouldn't dare to set foot in. If Morong Yu died there, then wouldn't his saint tools and other treasures all fall into that place? That's right, they were worried that after Morong Yu died, they wouldn't be able to obtain his treasures. Why would they care about Morong Yu's life and death? No, it should be said that they were extremely concerned about Morong Yu's life and death. They couldn't wait to kill Morong Yu. Otherwise, they wouldn't feel at ease leaving such a potential enemy alive. If there is a thunderbolt core, it must be inside. Morong Yu muttered. Although he didn't know what the thunderbolt core was, if even Hichu said it was a treasure, it was definitely something good. Immediately, Morong Yu took out the yin-yang cauldron and let it float above his head. Endless flame of primal chaos burst out from the yin-yang cauldron. It poured down like a waterfall, submerging Morong Yu and surrounding him. Although the flame of primal chaos that erupted from the yin-yang cauldron after Morong Yu had recognized it as its master could not be compared to the flame of primal chaos before it had recognized him as its master. However, it managed to block off a portion of the lightning power, which instantly reduced the pressure on Morong Yu. This is the Saint Artifact. When the students of Abyssal College saw the yin-yang cauldron, their eyes widened. They stared at the cauldron greedily, as if they couldn't wait to snatch it. However, they could only think about it. They had no way of snatching it, After bringing out the Yin-Yang cauldron, Morong-yu also secretly brought out the Hichu Luoshu, which transformed into a piece of clothing and covered his body. The reason for this was that Morong-yu didn't want others to discover the Hichu Luoshu. After all, many people had seen the Yin-Yang cauldron and knew that it was in his hands. However, no one knew about the Hichu Luoshu. Naturally, Morong-yu didn't need to expose it. With the protection of two treasures that surpassed the Saint artifact level, Morong-yu stepped into the so-called Land of Peril. Just as he stepped into the Land of Peril, he disappeared from the sight of the big shots of Abyssal College. The people of Abyssal College couldn't see what was going on in the Land of Peril. Rumble, just as he stepped into the danger zone, waves of berserk energy surged in from all directions. At this moment, Morong-yu was like a catkin in the middle of a gale, being tossed back and forth by the shockwave. He was like a lone boat in a stormy sea that could be torn apart at any time. Morong-yu staggered and couldn't stabilize his body at all. Immediately, with a thought, the Yin-Yang cauldron erupted with a powerful aura. The flame of primal chaos crazily spewed out, firmly protecting him. At the same time, the Hichu Luoshu emitted a faint yellow divine light, protecting Morong-yu. After activating the power of the two treasures, Morong-yu's body was finally able to stand steadily in place. At this moment, Morong-yu finally had the chance to look at his surroundings. In this place, he didn't dare to extend his divine sense. Once it left his body, it would be crushed by the violent force of lightning. However, the area Morong-yu was in was completely filled with lightning. As far as the eye could see, there were violent arcs of lightning everywhere. His line of sight was less than 10 meters. Morong-yu stood in place, narrowing his eyes as he tried to sense it. After entering this land of peril, the lightning divinity trembled with excitement and didn't stop. "It's right in front." Morong-yu's eyes flashed with a flash of lightning. He immediately took large strides forward. Although he was taking large strides, Morong-yu's speed was actually extremely slow. After all, the force of lightning here was too terrifying, and the resistance was too great. After several days, Morong-yu had only crossed a few kilometers. Finally, a fist-sized crystal appeared in front of him. It was a piece of crystal the size of a crystal with electric arcs flashing all over its body. Rather than calling it a crystal, it would be better to call it a crystal formed by lightning. Waves of incomparably vast lightning energy were constantly being emitted from this place. Morong-yu suppressed the crazily trembling lightning divinity, a trace of pleasant surprise on his face. "Is this the lightning core?" "Yes, this is the lightning core. Now you only need to refine it into the lightning divinity and refine it together with the lightning divinity. In the future, you won't lack the power of lightning." Hichu's pleasantly surprised voice sounded in Morong-yu's ears. Morong-yu, on the other hand, furrowed his brows. The power of this lightning core was extremely violent. Morong-yu had two supreme treasures protecting his body, but he still couldn't bear it. Cracks appeared on his body from the pressure. If he refined this thing into his body wouldn't be able to bear it at all and would directly explode. After knowing Morong-yu's thoughts, Hichu couldn't help but roll his eyes and almost faint. He finally understood that no matter how heaven-defying one's talent was, no matter how smart one was, there would be times when one was stupid. Immediately, he said speechlessly, "I only said to refine it, not to directly stuff the lightning core into your body. After refining it, the lightning core will be tamed by you like a divine weapon." "But how should I do it?" Morong-yu smiled embarrassedly. However, when he saw the lightning core again, Morong-yu felt that the lightning core was like a hedgehog, and he didn't know where to start. "Take out your lightning divinity and try to fuse it with the lightning core," Hichu said helplessly. "Will the godhead be directly crushed?" Morong-yu was indeed a little worried. "It shouldn't be if you're careful. Moreover, your lightning divinity is so excited." Morong-yu pondered for a moment. If the lightning divinity is crushed, there will be at least 2 godheads. As the saying goes, you can't trap a wolf without risking your child. Let's go all out. Murong Yu gritted his teeth and directly took out the lightning divinity that was trembling crazily in his body. Whoosh! As soon as Murong Yu took out the lightning divinity turned into a stream of light and shot toward the lightning core. Murong Yu was shocked. It shouldn't be crushed, right? Murong Yu reached out his big hand to grab the lightning divinity, but he didn't have the speed at all. He wanted to take it back, but he couldn't control it at all. It's over, it's over. Murong Yu sighed with a gloomy expression. Bang! While Murong Yu was sighing, the lightning divinity had already collided with the lightning core fiercely, exploding with an earth-shattering bang. The scene of the godhead being crushed as Murong Yu imagined did not happen. In fact, he didn't even feel anything strange about the lightning divinity. Chapter 10:13. After the deafening noise, Murong Yu saw divine light burst out all over the sky. Lightning flashed, and a dazzling light soared into the sky. At this moment, Murong Yu's eyes narrowed slightly. He couldn't even see anything in front of him. Murong Yu was shocked. With a thought, the yin-yang cauldron and Hichu Luoshu burst out with an incomparably powerful force, enveloping his whole body. At the same time, the entire secret lightning zone was shrouded in dazzling divine light. In just a moment, the eyes of everyone in the secret lightning zone seemed to be blinded. They couldn't see anything. Everyone was shocked. They didn't know what was going on. After the dazzling divine light, they found that the entire secret lightning zone seemed to be collapsing. Like the cycle of heaven and earth, the power of thunder and lightning became more and more terrifying. The void of the entire secret lightning zone began to collapse and shatter. Abyssal College in the main hall. Countless big shots of Abyssal College couldn't help but jump up. They looked at the mirror that began to collapse and shatter. They didn't know what was going on. What's going on? Why is the secret lightning zone collapsing? The big shots of Abyssal College roared. But who could answer this question? Bang! While they were still in shock and confusion, the huge mirror that had been conjured in the hall suddenly shattered into millions of pieces. Suddenly, they couldn't see anything in the secret lightning zone. What's going on? Is the secret lightning zone collapsing? The big shots of Abyssal College finally panicked. They looked at each other. Then, their figures flashed and disappeared from the main hall. At the same time that the huge mirror shattered, in the courtyard of Abyssal College, which was full of teleportation formations leading to various secret lands, a huge crack suddenly appeared in the sky. Then, one figure after another spurted out from the crack like a fountain. Screams and screams rose one after another. People fell to the ground one after another. In just a moment, tens of thousands of people appeared in the courtyard. If it wasn't for the fact that the courtyard was quite big, it would have been crowded by these people. What's going on? Seeing tens of thousands of disciples in Abyssal College's uniform being spurted out of the void, the students in the courtyard who were preparing to enter some secret lands, and even the experts guarding the teleportation formations, were all surprised. Even the Bloody Butcher and the others who were resting with their eyes closed suddenly opened their eyes. Unlike those ignorant people, the Bloody Butcher only needed a glance to know what was going on. The secret land collapsed and shattered. These people were spurted out of the collapsed secret land. Something similar had happened in the Desolate Institute as well. The Bloody Butcher sneered inwardly. The collapse of a secret plane meant that the Heaven Wasteland Academy had one less secret plane. This was a good thing for his rival, the Primordial Desolate Academy. However, just as they sneered, they seemed to think of something, and their faces changed instantly. Immediately, the Bloody Butcher stretched out his hand and grabbed a celestial master who had fallen not far from him. He immediately asked, "Which secret land were you in before?" "The secret land of thunder." The celestial master who had been spurted out of the secret land was scared half to death. After being caught by the Bloody Butcher, he was about to get angry, But when he saw the bloody butcher's eyes exuding a terrible killing intent, his anger was extinguished in an instant. At the same time, he said without hesitation, "The secret land of thunder." The bloody butcher and Xiang Sungwu's faces suddenly changed. At the same time, their divine senses burst out and covered the whole courtyard in an instant. However, they didn't see Morong Yu's figure. Immediately, they had a bad feeling in their hearts. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. At this time, countless figures appeared in the courtyard out of thin air. As soon as they appeared, they immediately rushed to the teleportation formation of the secret land of thunder and began to inspect it. It's over, the secret land of thunder and lightning has really collapsed and broken. The teleportation formation can't be sensed anymore. A quasi-saint of Abyssal College said with a gloomy face. The other bigwigs of Abyssal College didn't believe it and rushed up one by one. However, their faces soon turned gloomy because they couldn't sense the secret land of thunder and lightning either. Moreover, they all confirmed that there was no problem with the teleportation formation. A terrible killing intent erupted in an instant, first enveloping the whole courtyard, then spreading to the whole of Abyssal College. At this moment, the souls of all the students and teachers of Abyssal College seemed to have been frozen by this terrible killing intent. An incomparably strong aura of death instantly filled everyone's heart. It was extremely terrifying. Plop! Countless people suddenly fell to the ground, their faces pale and their eyes full of fear. They didn't know what had happened. Oh no! The first to react were the bigwigs of Abyssal College in the courtyard. They all looked at the bloody butcher in the courtyard at the same time. At this moment, the bloody butcher's entire body was shrouded in a blood-red aura, and a terrible killing intent erupted from his body. Powerful divine senses locked onto the people in the courtyard, and a murderous aura burst out. I hope that you can give me a satisfactory explanation. Otherwise, today's Abyssal College will turn into a river of blood. The bloody butcher looked coldly at the people of Abyssal College. His voice was as cold as ice and contained an extremely strong killing intent. The hearts of the people of Abyssal College thumped, and a terrible killing intent flashed through their hearts. One of the bigwigs of Abyssal College took a step forward and looked at the bloody butcher with a gloomy expression. The bloody butcher, this is an accident. At the same time, he swept the courtyard with his divine sense, and his heart immediately sank. He didn't see Morong Yu. After realizing this, the bigwigs of Abyssal College all had gloomy expressions. They felt the monstrous killing intent of the bloody butcher. They knew that if they didn't give the bloody butcher a satisfactory answer today, the bloody butcher would definitely slaughter everyone in Abyssal College. If it was someone else, they definitely wouldn't do such a thing, but this person was the bloody butcher. Hey, it's an accident. All of you from Abyssal College came out safe and sound, except for Morong Yu? The bloody butcher took a step forward, and his killing intent became even stronger. I don't care what method you use, but you must thoroughly investigate the secret lightning zone. You must save Morong Yu. One of the bigwigs of Abyssal College roared. Therefore, the bigwigs of Abyssal College began to use their methods to sense the secret lightning zone. However, no matter how hard they tried, they couldn't sense the secret lightning zone. Suddenly, they were so anxious that their foreheads were covered in sweat. If Morong Yu had really died, then today's Heaven Wasteland Academy would have been flooded with rivers of blood and mountains of corpses. The bloody butcher took a deep breath, and his killing intent became even more violent. At the same time, Xiang Sungwu and the other quasi-saint from Primeval College were also rapidly increasing their auras. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Sensing the terrifying killing intent of the bloody butcher and the other two, many quasi-saint from Abyssal College were alarmed. Even some super powerhouses who were in seclusion rushed out. The bloody butcher, you're too presumptuous. A powerhouse appeared out of nowhere and coldly looked at the bloody butcher with a sneer. 10th Order Quasi-Saint. Seeing the newcomer, the bigwigs of Abyssal College let out a sigh of relief. However, the Bloody Butcher frowned slightly. Shura? Shura, a top powerhouse from Abyssal College. His seniority was much higher than the Bloody Butcher's. He was a top powerhouse from Abyssal College, a 10th Order quasi-saint. Speaking of Shura, his fame in the divine realm was not below that of the Bloody Butcher. In fact, he was even more famous. Shuras were ferocious and aggressive demons. Einherjars were the gods of martial arts. Those who could be called Einherjars were all people with top-notch strength. Moreover, their comprehension and control of martial arts and battle experience were top-notch. And the person in front of them was called Shura. One could only imagine how terrifying his strength was. According to legend, Shura was already one step into the realm of saint. His strength was far beyond that of an ordinary 10th Order quasi-saint. Therefore, even the Bloody Butcher couldn't help but frown slightly when facing him. About the lightning secret area, it was purely an accident. Do you have any objections? Or do you want to take the opportunity to cause trouble? Shura looked at the Bloody Butcher and said indifferently. Domineering, overbearing. Many of Abyssal College's bigwigs wanted to say this to the Bloody Butcher, but apart from Shura, no one dared to say it. The Bloody Butcher frowned slightly, and his killing intent became even more intense. If I kill you and tell others that it was an accident, would you believe me? Now that the lightning secret area has completely collapsed, Morongyu has disappeared. Perhaps he was ground to dust along with the collapse of the secret area, or perhaps he has fallen into the endless spatial turbulence. Although it was an accident, our Abyssal College also has a certain degree of responsibility. We will now do everything we can to find Morongyu. What do you think? Without waiting for the Bloody Butcher to speak, Shura continued, If you still have any objections, then let's settle it with our fists. The implication of Shura's words was that if you don't agree, then we will beat you until you agree. Hearing Shura's words, the bigwigs of Primeval College were secretly pleased. But the Bloody Butcher was not happy. He took a step forward and sneered, I've long wanted to experience Shura's strength. Today is a good opportunity to do so. Shura narrowed his eyes slightly, and a cold, killing intent flashed in his eyes. How long has it been since someone dared to say this to me? Immediately, he sneered, took a step forward, and said indifferently, I've long heard that the Bloody Butcher is very powerful. Today, I'd like to experience it. The confrontation between the top powerhouses of the two colleges was on the verge of breaking out. Chapter 10-14. The Bloody Butcher and Shura were both top-notch experts in their respective academies, and perhaps even in the entire God realm. At this moment, the two of them were ready to fight at any moment. Everyone else looked at the two top-notch experts nervously. Especially the people from Abyssal College. Their faces gradually turned serious, and the big shots even sent out messages, causing the whole of Abyssal College to fall into a state of shock. Even the shock waves from the battle between the two of them could destroy Abyssal College, or even some small continent. If the two of them fought here, Abyssal College would definitely be razed to the ground. When that happened, only the three great academies would be left standing in the God realm. Just as the two top experts were about to draw their swords, a dry cough was heard. There wasn't anything special about the sound, it was just like a normal person's dry cough, and it wasn't loud either. However, when the dry cough reached everyone's ears, these people, including the Bloody Butcher and Shura, couldn't help but tremble violently. At this moment, it was as if their souls had been frozen. They couldn't move. It was as if they had been suppressed. Had their souls been suppressed by a dry cough? Horror! Everyone present, including Shura, had a look of horror on their faces. At their level of strength, unless it was a saint, how could there be anyone in the God realm capable of suppressing their souls with a dry cough? Could it be that the one who made the dry cough was a saint? Everyone from Abyssal College looked towards the source of the sound. The one who made the dry cough was Primeval College's quasi-saint, who hadn't revealed himself, and hadn't even spoken a word. Unlike the shocked people from Abyssal College, the Bloody Butcher's berserk aura instantly disappeared when Quasi-Saint let out that dry cough. Even his strength was completely withdrawn into his body. He took a step back and arrived behind the Quasi-Sage. Then, he stood respectfully where he was. At this moment, Primeval College's Quasi-Saint said faintly, "Little Blood, your temper is still so fiery. It's about time you changed it." Yes. The ferocious Bloodhand Butcher, who was like a god of slaughter in ancient times, was now like a docile lamb. He respectfully bowed and replied, "Yes, I'm very happy." Seeing this scene, everyone present, except for Xiang Xingyu, had a face full of shock, and their jaws dropped to the ground. Just who is this old man? How could he make the infamous the Bloody Butcher act so respectfully? Everyone looked at the Quasi-Saint whose face couldn't be seen clearly, and their hearts were filled with doubt. However, some important figures from Abyssal College seemed to have guessed something, and their expressions began to change. This was especially true for martial god Shura. "You are?" Shura suddenly exclaimed. Looking at the Primeval College's Quasi-Saint, his heart was filled with horror. As he spoke, he involuntarily took a few steps back and looked at the Quasi-Saint with vigilance. Seeing Shura's appearance, the important figures from Abyssal College finally realized something. Their pupils suddenly dilated as they looked at the Primeval College's Quasi-Saint. Just like Shura, they were so frightened that they took a few steps back. Even the Bloody Butcher couldn't scare them off, but this seemingly ordinary Quasi-Saint was able to scare off the famous Shura, who was even more famous than the Bloody Butcher. Just who was he? How could he have such terrifying strength? Had Murong Yu really been swallowed by the collapsed and shattered space, or had he been thrown into space turbulence? When Murong Yu released the lightning divinity rushed out and collided with the Thunderbolt core. Then, before Murong Yu could react, he found that the lightning divinity and the Thunderbolt core were stuck together. Murong Yu was instantly shocked. He didn't know what was going on. Even Hichu was shocked. He had never seen or even heard of such a strange thing. However, what surprised Murong Yu was that although the lightning divinity and the Thunderbolt core had been stuck together, he didn't feel any danger from the lightning divinity. Even when the lightning divinity and the Thunderbolt core were stuck together, Murong Yu felt that the impact of the surrounding thunder and lightning on him had weakened a little. Although the thunder and lightning power was more violent. "What's going on?" Murong Yu frowned slightly as he looked at the Thunderbolt core and the lightning divinity stuck together. His face was full of worry. "I seem to feel that the lightning divinity is swallowing the Thunderbolt core. Hichu, have you heard of such a situation?" Murong Yu was really shocked. For a long time, the Godhead was just an existence that stored divine power. It was indestructible. Although it could directly swallow and refine power, how could it swallow other things? At the very least, Murong Yu had never heard of such a thing. Hichu was also shocked. He had also never heard of such a thing. Could it be that my lightning divinity is special? Murong Yu frowned slightly. After thinking for a while, he felt that his lightning divinity was just an ordinary godhead. It was the same as the lightning divinity that ordinary people condense. There was nothing special about it. However, would ordinary godheads take the initiative to swallow the Thunderbolt core? That was impossible. Your lightning divinity is definitely special. Think about it carefully. Hichu stared at the lightning divinity that was swallowing the Thunderbolt core and revealed an astonished expression. Murong Yu frowned slightly. Murong Yu had a primal chaos celestial body and cultivated the primal chaos celestial body record. If he wanted to condense a godhead, under normal circumstances, he could only condense the primal chaos godhead, which was the king of godheads. However, when Murong Yu condensed a godhead, he condensed the spatial godhead and the lightning divinity at the same time. He condensed the spatial godhead because he cultivated the Xi formula. But what about the lightning divinity? Could it be because I was struck by lightning many times? In the beginning, Murong Yu didn't know any lightning-type technique. Back in the cultivation world, after he used the heavenly tribulation to kill many experts, he was almost struck to death by a black energy. After narrowly escaping death, Murong Yu began to control the power of lightning. The power of black lightning. Murong Yu could even summon lightning to kill his enemies. Could it be that the lightning divinity that I comprehended is really different from ordinary godheads? It's not ordinary lightning, but tribulation lightning? Murong Yu immediately voiced his guess. Hichu didn't say anything. After a long time, he slowly said, "It's also possible. Although the world thinks that the heavenly tribulation is controlled by the heavens, it's the power of the heavens. However, the power of the heavenly tribulation is also formed by the power of primal chaos, just like primal chaos fire. The black lightning that almost struck you to death should be a higher-level tribulation lightning, directly formed by the power of primal chaos. I guess it's because you're a chaotic celestial body that you didn't get struck to death. On the contrary, you were reborn. If it were anyone else, they would have been reduced to ashes long ago." As if recalling that scene, Murong Yu couldn't help but feel a lingering fear. Back then, he had nearly died. Perhaps it was just as he too had said. It was because of his chaos celestial body constitution that Mion Soap had died. If my lightning divinity is really related to tribulation lightning, how else can I explain this matter? Murong Yu guessed and finally confirmed this idea. The space here is getting more and more violent, and it's even about to collapse. The existence of this space might be due to the heart of thunder. Once the lightning core is devoured, this space will cease to exist. We have to leave this place immediately, or we won't be able to teleport, Hichu suddenly said. Murong Yu was shocked. He was originally focused on the lightning divinity and ignored the surrounding environment. Only then did he react and look around. Suddenly, he saw the nearby void begin to collapse in large areas. It was like the end of the world, but also like the reincarnation of heaven and earth. It was obvious that the lightning secret land was about to collapse. Hichu, take away the lightning core. Murong Yu wanted to take back the lightning divinity, but he couldn't. Moreover, he would never give up on the lightning divinity. While speaking, Murong Yu directly took out the Hichu Luoshu, enveloping the lightning core and the lightning divinity. At the same time, he directly rushed into the Hichu Luoshu world. This space was collapsing too much. If it was nighttime, he wouldn't be able to enter the Hichu Luoshu world, and would directly rush into the space turbulence. The lightning divinity was constantly devoured, and the lightning core erupted with even more violent thunder and lightning power, bombarding the surrounding void and constantly collapsing. However, he didn't know if it was because of the lightning divinity. Although these violent thunder and lightning power became more and more violent, the impact on Murong Yu was getting smaller and smaller. Therefore, the Hichu Luoshu directly enveloped the lightning core. Finally, under the concerted efforts of Murong Yu and Hichu, with a boom, the lightning core was absorbed into the Hichu Luoshu world. Boom! The moment the lightning core was absorbed into the Hichu Luoshu, Murong Yu saw the entire thunder and lightning secret land begin to collapse completely. It almost collapsed in an instant. Suddenly, except for a small number of Abyssal College students who were expelled, most of the Abyssal College students were swept into the space turbulence. When most of the people were swept into the space turbulence, they were directly strangled and turned into powder. Only a very small number of people survived temporarily. These people were powerful people who had reached the heavenly venerable realm, or powerhouses whose physical bodies were as strong as low-grade divine artifacts. However, even if they had reached middle-grade divine artifacts, the physical body of a high-grade divine artifact could not survive for long in the space turbulence, let alone them. Soon, one by one, they were strangled by the space turbulence. In less than a few breaths, these people who fell into the space turbulence were all strangled, and not a single one was left. Murong Yu also fell into the space turbulence. Chapter 10:15. So this is spatial turbulence? Looking at the incomparably violent black energy outside, it felt like a lone boat in the middle of a stormy sea that could be torn apart at any time. The incomparably terrifying energy kept hitting the He-2 and the Book of the Luo, bombarding it until it seemed like the He-2 and the Book of the Luo was about to be torn apart. In truth, the spatial turbulence in the immortal realm was not very strong. Otherwise, the spatial barrier of the immortal realm would not be able to withstand it and would be swallowed up by the spatial turbulence. Then the entire immortal realm would be destroyed, and not a single person would be left. Therefore, although the scene Murong Yu saw was frightening, it had no effect on his peerless god artifact-level physical body. He even had the crazy thought of leaving Hichu Luoshu and experiencing the spatial turbulence outside. But now there was a serious problem. After entering the spatial turbulence, he realized that Hichu Luoshu could no longer sense any teleportation point. It was impossible even in the immortal realm, or even the cultivation realm. In fact, the moment he entered the spatial turbulence, his connection with the Yen Huang immortal realm and the 36 cultivation realms were all cut off. In other words, it was impossible for Murong Yu to use the natural source of the immortal realm and the cultivation realms to teleport out of the spatial turbulence. As for Murong Yu, he was currently in an incomparably vast space with no end or starting point. He had no sense of direction, and was surrounded by raging spatial turbulence. Murong Yu was worried. Hichu, how are we going to go back? Find a way back. Hichu rolled his eyes and continued, although spatial turbulence is not as boundless as chaos, it is still very vast. Even a rank 10 quasi-saint would not be able to find the end of the spatial turbulence even if he used up his lifespan. Murong Yu's face darkened. According to Hichu, did that mean that they would never be able to go back? Although Murong Yu had a long lifespan, he could not cultivate in the spatial turbulence. If they could not find a way out, then they could only die here. Murong Yu felt a wave of bitterness. Moreover, if you enter the chaotic streams of space in the saint's world, you'll be obliterated in less than a 10,000th of an instant. Murong Yu felt even more bitter. Then how can we leave this place? Do you know what spatial turbulence is? Hichu suddenly asked, but before Murong Yu could answer, he continued, I don't think you know what spatial turbulence is. If a world is compared to an underwater city deep in the ocean, then the spatial turbulence is the seawater that surrounds the city in all directions. Although the underwater city was protected to a certain extent, once the people in the underwater city left the city and entered the sea, they would drown. Once the seawater gushed into the city, the people there would drown. The God realm, the immortal realm, and all the other worlds are underwater cities that have been submerged by the spatial turbulence. If you want to return to the God realm, then you have to find your world in this vast ocean, then break through the world barrier and return to the God realm. But if you want to find the God realm or other worlds in the spatial turbulence, the chances are as good as finding a grain of sand in the Ganges River. Murong Yu frowned slightly. This spatial turbulence was of no use to him. The main thing was to find the God realm or other world. Moreover, the spatial turbulence was extremely violent. He could not control his body at all. And during the time they were talking, Hichu Luoshu had already been blasted billions of miles away. I have to think of a way to go back. Murong Yu looked at Lightning Divinity who was devouring the lightning core behind him and could not help but frown slightly. The lightning core could not resist at all, it could only be devoured by Lightning Divinity. But Murong Yu knew that if Lightning Divinity wanted to completely devour the lightning core, it would take a very long time. At the very least, 1,000 years was indispensable. Moreover, Yu also realized that even if he sped up time, he could not speed up lightning divinity's power. After the lightning godhead has completely devoured the lightning core, it will be able to automatically absorb the lightning force drifting between heaven and earth. Just like how the tree of life absorbs the power of primal chaos, it can provide you with an endless supply of power. In a battle, there is no possibility of its power being depleted. Yu shook his head. Not to mention this, even if he could absorb a large amount of the power of lightning, it would be useless if he did not leave the spatial turbulence. I have to go out and find a way back, Yu muttered to himself. After saying this to Hichu, he stepped out of Hichu Luoshu world. Previously, he did not dare to enter Hichu Luoshu when the space was unstable because he was worried that he would rush into the spatial turbulence. But now that he was in the spatial turbulence, how bad could the situation be? Yu's body was not damaged at all despite the violent spatial turbulence bombarding his body. With his body that had reached the level of a superb divine weapon, although there was still a lot of pressure to resist the spatial turbulence, it was not a problem. However, although he could resist the spatial turbulence, he was swayed from side to side by the impact of the spatial turbulence. He could not stabilize his body at all and could only go with the flow. In the end, Yu took out Hichu Luoshu and the Yin-Yang cauldron again before he could barely stabilize his body. However, what made him helpless was that there was no direction at all. What made him feel terrified was that standing in the spatial turbulence, he could not feel the passage of time at all. It was as if time had stopped flowing, but also as if it had not moved since ancient times. But in fact, time was still flowing and his lifespan was also being consumed. If he could not leave this place, because there was no passage of time, he could not feel the loss of his lifespan at all. In the end, when the time came, he would die directly without knowing what had happened. Yu was not willing to die in the spatial turbulence like this. Therefore, he decided on a direction and shot off as fast as he could. Time continued to pass. Yu kept moving forward. He did not know how many billions of miles he had flown, but it was as if he had been motionless in the same place. It could not be helped. The spatial turbulence was the same everywhere. Even if he kept moving forward, because there was no reference point, or because the reference point was always the same, he did not know how much distance he had crossed. However, Yu decided on a direction and kept flying forward. However, was the direction in which he had been flying in the right direction? Or could it be that the direction he was flying in was the direction he had originally decided on? No one knew, not even Hichu. All of this depended on luck. At the same time, another big thing happened in the realm of the gods. Chapter 10:16. Yu frowned as he played with the dragon-shaped key in his hand. He had been studying the dragon-shaped key for half a day, but apart from sensing a mysterious aura coming from the key, he hadn't discovered anything else. Even Hichu hadn't discovered anything. Actually, Yu felt that Hichu had discovered something, but Hichu hadn't said anything. Yu naturally didn't think that Hichu was lying to him. If Hichu had discovered something and hadn't explained it to him, then it meant that the dragon-shaped key had a mysterious origin and contained an earth-shattering secret. It's best not to let anyone else know about this dragon-shaped key. Perhaps it's related to a treasure trove. Hichu's voice sounded in Yu's ears. Treasure trove. Secret. Even if all the treasures in Shadowless Treasury were added together, it wouldn't be enough to make Hichu so serious. In reality, those treasures were nothing in Hichu's eyes. The treasure Hichu spoke of would definitely be amazing. In the end, Yu took a deep breath and put the dragon-shaped key into Hichu Luoshu before walking out of his courtyard. After spending a few months with Shengzhen, Zhao Jiqing, and the others, Yu once again returned to Primeval College. After all, the freshman competition between the four great schools was about to begin. Seeing Murong Yu swagger into Xiang Sungwu's room, the teachers, students, and guards all had looks of envy on their faces. Although Xiang Sungwu wasn't the dean of Primeval College, his status wasn't any lower than theirs. Normally, even Primeval College's classroom didn't have the right to enter his courtyard. However, Murong Yu treated it as his own home and came in and out as he pleased. Most importantly, there were even a few times when people saw Xiang Sungwu smiling at Murong Yu. Many people knew that Murong Yu was definitely Xiang Sungwu and many other important people in Primeval College. Many people knew that Murong Yu was definitely a talent that Primeval College focused on cultivating. Thus, over the past few days, many people had come over to express their goodwill. However, Murong Yu didn't even bother to meet them and directly rejected them from 1,000 miles away. It wasn't that Murong Yu was too arrogant, but that there was really no need to make friends with those people. As for power, he had Primeval College and Spectre. Who in the entire God realm had such a terrifying background? As for forming his own power? Estes backgrounds is back. Those people were absolutely loyal to Murong Yu, so there was no need for him to accept the allegiance of those from the God realm. Old man Xiang, what are the benefits of this freshman competition? Murong Yu asked as he walked into the hall and sat down casually. There are many benefits. If you can get first place, you'll be rewarded with a holy artifact. Only a holy artifact? Murong Yu was uninterested. After looting the blood sects and shadowless treasuries, Murong Yu was no longer interested in holy artifacts. Of course, it's not just that. The first place will have the opportunity to enter a secret area jointly controlled by our 4 great colleges to cultivate for a period of time. Moreover, any student who participates in the competition will have the opportunity to cultivate in another secret area. Seeing that Murong Yu was still uninterested, Xiang Sungwu continued, the secret area that the first place will enter. Every person who enters will advance by a realm after they come out. It's a realm, not a small one. Really? Murong Yu's interest was immediately piqued. Everyone can advance by a large realm? Murong Yu was currently worried about how to quickly increase his strength. If there really was such a secret area, he would fight for it no matter what. Xiang Sungwu nodded. Old man Xiang, just wait and see how I suppress the other 3 colleges. Murong Yu laughed, full of confidence. He had this confidence because all the people participating in the competition were at the Sky Realm. Weren't there Sky Monarch and Sky Sovereign Realm experts among the freshmen? Although these people were first-year students, they had already advanced during the 10,000 years that Murong Yu had been cultivating in the gravity secret area. Their strength was not suitable for them to stay in the first year. The people participating in the trial were all first-year students at the Sky Marquee Realm. All the top 100 students in the competition were present. In fact, the original competition was to differentiate the rankings and prepare for this competition. Other than these 100 first-year students, there were also students from the other 5 years. This was because although this was only a competition between freshmen, there was also an exchange between the older students. With Xiang Sungwu and over 100 Primeval College teachers leading the way, Murong Yu and hundreds of people stepped onto the teleportation array and walked towards their destination. At the same time, the people from the various major forces in the Divine Realm who had the ability to pass through the barrier of the Endless Continent to watch this grand ceremony that only happened once every million years. This was because this time it was not only an exchange, but also a ranking between the 4 great colleges. Therefore, this day every million years was very lively. The Star Wilderness Continent was a continent several times larger than the Dream Wilderness Continent. It did not belong to the Wilderness, Great Desolation, or Tianhuang Continent. It was the most chaotic and freest continent in the Divine Realm. Here, all kinds of trade were extremely prosperous, and there were experts from the 4 continents coming here to trade at all times. Of course, this place was extremely far away from the 4 continents of the divine realm. Even if there was a teleportation array, not everyone had the ability to come here. Therefore, other than the natives, the people from the 4 continents were either rich or noble. It could even be said that if a rock was thrown out in the Star Wilderness continent, it could hit a person who could be a core or upper echelon of a superforce. The Star Wilderness continent was the largest city in the Star Wilderness continent, and this city was a city that was jointly controlled by the 4 great colleges. Strictly speaking, this was the property of the 4 great colleges. When Murong Yu and the others were teleported to the Star Wilderness continent, the Primeval College had already prepared everything and welcomed them to their property to settle down. The competition will officially begin in a month. During this time, you can move about in the city, but it's best if you don't leave the Star Wilderness continent. A Primeval College teacher warned his host with a serious expression. The Star Wilderness continent was extremely chaotic, and killing and robbing were crazier and more serious than any other continent. And although Murong Yu and the others were strong in the same realm, they were still in the Sky realm. Once they left the Star Wilderness continent, it was very likely that they would be robbed and killed. And these 100 people were the most outstanding disciples among the tens of millions of people, so the death of any one of them would be a great loss. However, such a situation would not occur in the Star Wilderness continent. After all, the 4 great colleges had experts overseeing this place, so who would dare to make a move? The crowd quickly dispersed, and Qin Xiaowei began to cultivate. It was not a last-minute effort, but a coincidental comprehension. Therefore, Murong Yu declined some people's invitations, left the courtyard alone, and strolled around the Star Wilderness continent. Big pervert. Just as Murong Yu was strolling around the city, a somewhat surprised voice suddenly sounded behind him. Murong Yu was slightly surprised, and turned around to look, just in time to see Lan bouncing towards him. Seeing Lan, Murong Yu thought of Lan Fenghua, and when he thought of that scene, he could not help but blush with shame. "Little girl, weren't you in seclusion in the family? Why are you here?" Murong Yu asked in confusion. Lan glared at Murong Yu in exasperation. "You idiot, how many years has it been? With my talent, I would have emerged from seclusion long ago. And I should be the one asking you that. Why have you appeared here?" "For fun," Murong Yu replied simply and forcefully. At the same time, a sliver of surprise appeared in his eyes as he looked at Lan. Lan's strength had actually increased to late overgod. That was not slow at all. Seeing the surprise in Murong Yu's eyes, Lan raised her proud little head complacently, like a lofty phoenix. "My talent is unbelievable. I've already reached the peak of overgod." "How did you surpass me again, big pervert?" Lan wanted to show off in front of Murong Yu, but then she discovered that Murong Yu's strength seemed to have reached the Sky realm. She could not help but feel a little discouraged. Murong Yu could not help but find it funny. This little girl had the temperament of a child. "All right, your talent is unbelievable, but I'm even more unbelievable than you." "Haha." Murong Yu laughed and turned around to leave. Lan snorted coldly and followed after him. "Why don't you have any experts protecting you? Is your father at ease leaving you alone in the star-desolate continent?" After walking for a while, Murong Yu still did not discover anyone secretly protecting Lan, so he could not help but ask. My father is in the star-desolate city. Who dares to touch me?" Lan smiled complacently. "Did you come here because of the competition between the 4 academies? Big pervert, you've actually been enlightened. You even know about this. Let me tell you a secret. This time, other than the student competition, the teachers of the 4 academies also have a competition. Moreover, countless clans from the 4 continents will come here to exchange and trade with each other. Oh right, Fan Tong, Sister Ouyang and the others are also here. Should we go find them?" Lan's original intention was to find Ouyang Fei and the others. Meeting Murong Yu was just an accident. Murong Yu nodded. He and Fan Tong had not seen each other for many years. Aya, I still haven't told you. What are you doing here? I don't believe that you're here to play. Kurlan suddenly exclaimed on the way. I'm here to help Primeval College get first place in the freshman competition. Murong Yu directly said. What a big tone. You're really overestimating yourself. A cold snort was heard. It was not Kurlan, but a few people beside her. At this time, those people were looking at Murong Yu with disdain. Chapter 10:17. Abyssal College bowed down to Primeval College and compensated Primeval College with countless resources. Even the 10 secret planes that were originally controlled by Abyssal College were given to Primeval College. From then on, Abyssal College lost the right to enter those secret planes forever. Overnight, this disappearance spread throughout the entire realm of the gods, and even within the Yao realm. Everyone knew about it. The secret planes and the compensation were all true. Many people had confirmed this matter, and even the reason for this matter was quickly spread. Hey, you guys don't know why Abyssal College bowed down to Primeval College, right? In a restaurant, someone said to the person next to him. Before he finished speaking, someone immediately sneered. Who doesn't know about this matter? The student that Primeval College focused on, the student who obtained the sacred artifact in the Yao realm, died in one of Abyssal College's secret planes. It's said that Abyssal College's people wanted to kill Murong Yu, but in the end, the secret plane collapsed. In the end, countless students of Abyssal College and Murong Yu all died together. It's because of this that Primeval College was furious. At that time, the Bloody Butcher almost fought with Shura. Perhaps Abyssal College knew that they were in the wrong, so they decided to compensate like this. You're right. But do you really think that Abyssal College was afraid of Primeval College and didn't fight with the Bloody Butcher? With Shura's divine power, it's still a question of who would win and who would lose. Abyssal College didn't need to compromise at all. The first person to speak said coldly. Yeah, even if Shura can't suppress the Bloody Butcher, he's definitely not weak. Why did Abyssal College give in? Immediately, someone asked in confusion. Everyone in the restaurant looked at the first person who spoke with a puzzled look. Seeing that everyone's eyes were focused on him, that person was secretly happy. After enjoying the feeling of being the center of attention, he slowly said, because Primeval College has someone more powerful than Shura and the Bloody Butcher. That person suppressed Shura without even making a move. Otherwise, do you really think that Abyssal College wouldn't dare to fall out with Primeval College? Isn't that nonsense? Who is that person? We all know that there must be an even more powerful existence from the Great Desolate Academy that suppressed the Heaven Desolate Academy, but who exactly is that person? Seeing that person keeping them in suspense, someone immediately scolded. Legend has it that that person has already reached the level of a saint and is extremely powerful. Who is that person? Stop keeping us in the dark. I hate people who keep us in suspense the most. Say it now. The people in the restaurant immediately exploded and were very dissatisfied. Some people even looked at the person who kept them in suspense with murderous look. Feeling the anger of the crowd, the person who kept them in suspense suddenly changed his expression and said embarrassedly, "As for who it is, I don't know. But I heard that he's above the Bloody Butcher in terms of seniority. He's level of saint. F***ck, I feel like you've just said a bunch of nonsense. I thought there was some big news. This bastard is too despicable. Throw him out." The people in the restaurant stood up with murderous looks and were about to throw the person out of the restaurant. Seeing that the situation was not good, this person immediately ran away with his tail between his legs, avoiding the scene of being thrown out. At the same time, the entire heavenly realm was in an uproar because of this. Who was it that made Abyssal College obediently compensate them? They were even thought to be subservient, but they didn't come out to clarify. Could it be that Primeval College really had a saint? Countless important figures from Savage Academy and Great Desolation Academy gathered together. All of them had solemn expressions as they discussed countermeasures. If Primeval College really had a saint, would the saint make a move on them? Would the saint directly suppress the two colleges and merge them with Primeval College? If there really was a saint, all the experts from the two colleges combined would not be a match for the saint. Even if they worked together, they were not qualified to be a match for the saint. They would only be slapped to death by the saint. We have to get to the bottom of this. The people from the two colleges began to focus on this matter. At this moment, the order to stop the war against the human race was passed down among the shifters. Most of the shifters who had come to the human race's territory had already retreated. Before figuring out whether Primeval College had a saint, the shifters stopped all activities. Otherwise, if they angered a saint-level expert, the saint-level expert could walk around their territory or slap the demon-desolate continent a few times. Even if the demon race did not perish, they would suffer heavy casualties. Blood would flow like rivers and corpses would be everywhere. Was the person from Primeval College really a saint? No one knew. Who was it? No one knew. Or rather, those who knew didn't say it. Is that Murong Yu's talent really that terrifying? He actually has a saint backing him. If I die, it'll be worth it. The students from Abyssal College were very angry at first. They felt that Abyssal College couldn't be so weak and couldn't give in. However, when they found out that there might be a saint in the Great Desolate Academy, their anger dissipated. If it was a quasi-saint, they felt that Abyssal College's quasi-saint might not be a match for those from Primeval College. However, if it was a saint, everyone in the divine world wouldn't be a match for him. Therefore, they felt that Abyssal College made the right choice to compensate Primeval College. Otherwise, they would all be killed. At the same time, they were even more envious of the dead Murong Yu. I heard that Murong Yu ascended from the mortal world and cultivated for less than 1,000,000 years. If you have such heaven-defying talent, the saint from Primeval College will definitely snatch you away and nurture you as a disciple. Someone sneered. I cultivated to the Heaven Monarch realm for more than 1,000,000 years. Damn it, you're not wrong, right? It took less than 100 eras to cultivate to the peak of the Heaven Monarch realm, not 1,000,000 years? Someone immediately exclaimed. Ordinary Heaven Monarchs only had a lifespan of 1,000,000 eras. The person who exclaimed was at the mid-stage of the Heaven Monarch realm and had a lifespan of 10,000,000 eras. Presumably, it only took him a few 100,000 eras to break through to the early stage of the Heaven Monarch realm. He wasn't considered a genius in Abyssal College, but compared to the cultivators in the entire divine world, he was considered a genius. An ordinary genius. That's right, 1,000,000 years. Damn, 1,000,000 years, and it's not even 1,000,000 years. This kid is heaven-defying. He has a great chance of becoming a saint in the future. I think the saint from Primeval College said that because he thought that he had a chance of becoming a saint. If he really becomes a saint, doesn't that mean that Primeval College has two saints? Saints are immortal and indestructible. In the future, they will definitely suppress the other three colleges until we can't raise our head. If Murong Yu was really killed by Abyssal College, then it's great that he died. The person suddenly laughed out loud. Are you crazy? Abyssal College will never admit to this. Otherwise, if the saint from Primeval College gets angry, all of us will be finished. Watch your mouth. The other person immediately scolded. The laughter stopped abruptly, and a look of fear appeared on his face. Then, his body swayed and he quickly left the place. He was afraid that he would be killed by the saint from Abyssal College. Primeval College. Murong Yu shouldn't be dead yet. However, although his soul jade slip isn't completely shattered, there are many cracks. Xiang Sungwu looked at Murong Yu's soul jade slip with a gloomy face. The reason why Primeval College didn't destroy Abyssal College was because they knew that Murong Yu wasn't really dead. Otherwise, how could Abyssal College extinguish Primeval College's anger with just 10 secret planes and some compensation? Murong Yu's body is very strong, and he has a saint artifact on him. I'm afraid he's currently in the chaotic space. However, if he can't find the exit, he'll eventually die in the chaotic space. If Murong Yu is really dead, then let Abyssal College die with him. If they didn't have evil intentions, how could this have happened? The Bloody Butcher said with a murderous look. Everyone looked at Murong Yu's soul jade slip speechlessly, and they all had murderous looks on their faces. Dream Wasteland Continent, Shenzhen. Zhao Jiqing and the others all gathered in the main hall, and their faces were so gloomy that it seemed like water was about to drip out of them. I believe everyone has heard the news that spread throughout the realm of the gods? Murong isn't dead, but he's in great danger. It's most likely because of Abyssal College. Even Primeval College hasn't done anything yet. Zhao Jiqing glanced at the people in the main hall and said in a low voice, Murong is in danger at any moment now, but our strength is too low, we can't help him at all. If something really happens to Murong Yu, we don't even have the ability to avenge him. Everyone here ascended from the mortal world to the immortal world and then to the realm of the gods. It's all because of Murong that we have today's strength. Sister-in-law, don't say any more. We all know that it's all because of little Yu that we can have this day. He's always been working hard outside, and we've only grown under his protection. He's always been the one working hard for us, but we haven't done anything. Li Feng stood up and said in a low voice. So, we must become stronger. We must do something, we must help little Yu. To put it bluntly, if something really happens to little Yu, we must avenge him and kill everyone in Abyssal College. Chapter 10:18. While the Divine Realm was in an uproar, Murong Yu was still moving forward rapidly in the turbulent space. Maybe it was a year? Or maybe it was billions of years or countless eras. Murong Yu didn't know, because he couldn't feel the passage of time. In addition, the turbulent space around him didn't change for a long time. The exact same turbulent space made Murong Yu feel incomparably dry and lonely. Facing the same thing all day, even if Murong Yu's mental state was strong, he still felt incomparably bored. It was at this moment that Murong Yu truly felt what it meant to be lonely and desolate. In the past, even if he was in seclusion for 10,000 years, he wouldn't feel lonely. Because at that time, he knew that he was still in the divine realm or other world. As long as he came out of seclusion, he would meet others. But now, he was in the turbulent space. Where was the divine realm? Where were the other worlds? So much so that Murong Yu once wanted to enter the Hichu Luoshu world and fly there. However, he knew that it was impossible. Now, he kept flying forward. Although he didn't know when he would encounter a spatial crack and return to the divine realm or other worlds. But at least there was a chance. But if he returned to the Hichu Luoshu world, unless he was extremely lucky, he wouldn't encounter any other worlds. Time passed, Murong Yu kept flying. In the Hichu Luoshu world, the lightning divinity had already devoured more than half of the lightning core. This let Murong Yu know how long he had been drifting in the turbulent space. Originally, it was estimated that the lightning divinity would need 1,000 years to completely devour the lightning core. But now, it had devoured more than half of it. In other words, Murong Yu had been drifting in the turbulent space for 600 to 700 years. 600 to 700 years, if it was someone else, they would have died long ago, right? Murong Yu muttered in his heart. He was referring to those who had the ability to resist the strangulation of the turbulent space. But in the turbulent space, there wasn't any heaven and earth yuan qi for a martial artist to cultivate. Therefore, even if someone had a large amount of divine veins and other things that could replenish vitality, they would have been used up in 600 to 700 years. Murong Yu, on the other hand, had the Tree of Life. The roots of the Tree of Life had taken root in the void, and even in the primordial chaos itself, absorbing the power of primordial chaos. Therefore, no matter where Murong-yu appeared, he would not have to worry about exhausting all of his energy. Unless there was someone powerful enough to sever the billions of roots of the tree of life. The lightning divinity devoured more and more of the thunder heart, and it was almost completely devoured. On this day, a huge, ball-like crystal suddenly appeared in front of Murong-yu. This huge crystal ball emitted a faint white light, illuminating the dark turbulent space, making it seem as if it was illuminated. An incomparably strong aura of life rushed over. "This is a world!" Seeing that crystal ball, Murong-yu, who had been silent for a long time, suddenly became excited. With a thought, he was about to rush towards the crystal ball. "Wait!" At this moment, Hichu suddenly shouted in Murong-yu's mind. Murong-yu immediately jumped in fright as he stopped in his tracks. A bad feeling welled up in his heart. Then, he asked, "Hichu, what's going on?" "That's the holy world." Hichu's serious voice sounded in Murong-yu's mind. The holy world? Murong-yu suddenly became excited. That was the holy world that only saints had the right to live in. If Murong-yu could enter the holy world, he could use the heaven and earth yuan qi to cultivate, and with all kinds of comprehension, he could rapidly increase his cultivation and directly break through to the saint realm. Moreover, even if he couldn't survive in the holy world, as long as he entered the holy world, he could directly teleport to the god realm or other world. Moreover, as long as he left a teleportation point in the holy world, he could directly go to the holy world without ascending. You can't enter the holy world. Not to mention the barrier of the holy world, you can't even pass through the chaotic space outside the holy world. As long as you get close, you will be torn to pieces by the spatial turbulence, Hichu said coldly. Murong-yu's brows furrowed slightly. His previous excitement had completely disappeared. Only then did he remember that the spatial turbulence outside the holy world was extremely terrifying. Even undead saints couldn't resist it. If he flew over rashly, he would probably be torn to pieces before he even got close. The reason why he didn't feel the even more terrifying chaotic airflow now. This was because he was still a long distance away from the holy world. How big was the god realm? Murong-yu couldn't describe it. In any case, it was extremely big. And the holy world was billions of times bigger than the god realm. It was such a huge world, but what he saw was only the size of a crystal ball. It was as big as the stars in the sky. One could imagine how far he was from the holy world. This distance, Murong-yu probably couldn't reach it even if he flew for hundreds of millions of years. If people from the god realm ascended to the holy world, then is the god realm near the holy world? Since I can't enter the holy world, then as long as I find the god realm, can't I go back? Murong-yu's heart stirred. However, Hichu once again poured a bucket of cold water on him. People from the cultivation world also flew to the immortal world, but are the immortal world and the cultivation world nearby? Murong-yu fell silent, because the immortal world and the cultivation world weren't together. If they were together, the cultivation world wouldn't be able to resist the spatial turbulence outside the immortal world and would be torn to pieces. Murong-yu fell silent, because the immortal world and the cultivation world weren't together. If they were together, the cultivation world wouldn't be able to resist the spatial turbulence outside the immortal world and would be torn to pieces. Since the holy world is in front, then the god realm and other worlds naturally can't be nearby. They can only be in other places. Hichu continued. Murong-yu nodded and immediately changed direction, flying in another direction. After flying for who knows how many years, on this day, the Hichu Luoshu suddenly exploded with lightning. Murong-yu's heart stirred, and he immediately entered the Hichu Luoshu world. A godhead that was flickering with lightning was suspended in the void. Bolts of lightning were constantly emitting from it, shaking the surrounding void and shattering it. At the same time, Morongyu saw strands of lightning constantly penetrating the Hichu Luoshu outside the Hichu Luoshu, rushing straight to the godhead. It was like the life force absorbing the chaotic energy in the world. Morongyu was overjoyed. The lightning divinity had finally completely devoured the lightning core. With a thought, the lightning divinity turned into a streak of light and rushed into Morongyu's body, once again occupying his dantian. Immediately, strands of lightning quickly rushed into Morongyu's body. A sense of fullness rushed into Morongyu's body. At this moment, Morongyu felt his strength skyrocket. Chapter 10:19. The lightning divinity that had completely devoured the lightning core was like the tree of life. It could directly devour the wandering lightning energy in the void. However, the mutated lightning divinity still had a huge gap between it and the tree of life. Because the tree of life was rooted in the primal chaos, it could absorb the primal chaos energy no matter where Morongyu was. Moreover, it wouldn't be different in different spaces. However, the lightning power absorbed by the lightning godhead was only the lightning power that drifted between heaven and earth. In other words, if Morongyu entered a space without any lightning energy, it would be impossible for him to absorb any lightning energy. However, such spaces were extremely rare. Even in the primal chaos space, there were all kinds of energy drifting around. It was just that, under normal circumstances, no one could absorb them. After the lightning divinity returned, Morongyu was really happy for a while. This was because his strength had increased a lot the moment the lightning divinity returned, although his realm didn't change at all. However, the current lightning divinity was much stronger than the previous lightning divinity. If the previous lightning divinity was an ordinary burly man, then the mutated godhead was a burly man who practiced martial arts. This was the difference. Apart from the fact that his lightning godhead had become more powerful, there were no other changes for a long time after that. Morongyu continued to fly in the primal chaos space that had no starting point and no end. At the same time, in the endless primal chaos, a few super experts of the sacred world were engaged in a great battle. All of them erupted with powerful auras. The terrifying power shook the surrounding primal chaos space and caused it to collapse and be destroyed. The distant sacred world seemed to be constantly trembling because of the terrifying power that leaked out from the battle of these super experts. At the same time, these super experts seemed to be wary of the sacred world, so they didn't approach it. Otherwise, once the sacred world was destroyed, they could only live in the endless primal chaos forever. Without the existence of a world, they would eventually die of loneliness in the endless primal chaos. However, not far from them, there was a huge tower shining with golden light that emitted millions of rays of light. It stood in the primal chaos space, unafraid of the shockwaves of everyone's power. It didn't tremble at all. In fact, before the shockwaves of power could reach the tower, they were shattered by the golden light emitted by the tower. They couldn't get close. This tower was definitely an extremely peak saint artifact. It even surpassed saint artifacts. Clearly, the reason these super experts of the sacred world were fighting was because of this tower. They were fighting over this tower. There were 5 experts in the middle of a great battle. They were definitely experts who had surpassed the imperishable realm, but it was unknown what realm they were. However, they were currently fighting against each other. They had been fighting for tens of thousands of years. However, they couldn't determine the outcome. Everyone, stop! Suddenly, one of the saint experts roared and punched out to repel a force that was attacking him. At the same time, he retreated rapidly. At the same time, the other 4 quickly retreated as well. However, they continued to look at each other like 2 horns, secretly vigilant. They were determined to get the tower. They couldn't allow anyone else to get their hands on it. Nuwas Temple is sovereign Nuwas Palace. It's also a sovereign artifact. It's an existence that even autarchs covet. The 5 of us are equal in strength, but we're determined to get the sovereign artifact. But if we continue fighting like this, we won't be able to determine the outcome. Sooner or later, Nuwa's temple will be discovered by others. If it's a saint venerable, we'll still have a chance to get the temple. But if it's a autarch, they can crush us with a single finger. There's no way we can get the sovereign artifact. Shengzhen, who was the first to retreat, looked at the other four and said solemnly. The others nodded in agreement. They all had the same concerns. Then what do you think we should do? Someone asked. There can be countless saint venerables in the sacred world, but there can only be 10 autarchs. And each autarch can only have one sovereign artifact. Every sovereign artifact has the strength of an autarch. Nuwa's temple is a sovereign artifact left behind by the fallen sovereign Nuwa. There's no way we can take it with our strength. Even if we do, it'll take an extremely long time. What I'm saying is that the 5 of us work together to take down Nuwa's temple. Then, we'll have to rely on our own strength to get it to acknowledge us as its master. If we're lucky enough to get it to acknowledge us as its master first, then the temple will naturally belong to us. However, we'll have to give the other 4 enough benefit. What do you think? The other 4 fell silent. This was definitely the best method. Otherwise, who knew when they'd be able to decide the outcome of the battle? If news of Nuwa's temple spread, all the experts in the sacred world would get involved. It would be impossible for them to get their hands on the temple then. If they worked together to take down Nuwa's temple, each of them would have a 20% chance of getting it to acknowledge them as its master. Alright. After a while, the first person agreed. The others all nodded. Swish. Swish, 5 figures flashed through the air, surrounding the golden tower from 5 different directions. This was none other than Nuwa's sacred palace. Attack! A saint roared. At almost the same time, the 5 supreme experts reached out with their hands and grabbed at Nuwa's temple. As if sensing danger, Nuwa's temple suddenly erupted with golden light. The dazzling golden light illuminated even the lightless chaotic space. Right at this moment, Nuwa's temple, which had been standing there unmoving for a very long time, suddenly shuddered. Whoosh! A terrifying pressure suddenly emanated from within Nuwa's temple. Wherever it passed, large swaths of chaotic space were annihilated. With a "Piu," the 5 Saint Exalt's hands were instantly annihilated. At the same time, the terrifying force slammed into the 5 supreme experts. Pooh! In an instant, the 5 Saint Exalts, who were considered supreme experts even in the sacred world, all spat out a mouthful of blood as they were sent flying. The chaotic space around them was constantly being shattered by them. Streams of blood spurted out of their mouths like fountains, forming a river of blood within the chaotic space. What terrifying power! As expected of an autarch weapon. The 5 of them felt that they had been severely injured. Although they were shocked, they were also overjoyed. If they could obtain an autarch weapon, they would be able to comprehend the autarch's Tao and become an autarch. Of course, there were only 10 autarchs in the sacred world. They couldn't add any more. However, if they could kill one of the autarchs, they could replace him as the new autarch. Kill! After the 5 supreme experts stabilized themselves in the distance, they roared in unison and charged towards Nuwa's temple. They reached out with their hands and grabbed at the temple once more. Nuwa's temple seemed to be infuriated by the fact that these ant-like people still dared to take it. Before their hands could even get close, Nuwa's temple shook violently once more. Bang! A terrifying aura that was trillions of times more powerful than the one before suddenly erupted. The faces of the 5 holy venerables changed drastically, and they immediately retreated. As they retreated, they raised their strength to the limit. Even so, their speed was far inferior to the terrifying power that had erupted from Nuwa's temple. By the time they retreated hundreds of millions of miles, the terrifying power had already annihilated the chaotic space and slammed into them. Pooh! After a muffled sound, the 5 of them were annihilated at the same time. Not even their saint godheads were left. 5 holy venerables were annihilated in an instant. One had to know that in the sacred world, holy venerables were the limit of cultivation. Didn't they say that there were autarchs, sovereigns, and even controllers above holy venerables? There were only 10 autarchs. This was a fact that had never changed. As for sovereigns and controllers of chaos, there was only one. Although autarchs could fall, a new autarch would be born. But how could a autarch fall? Unless they were attacked by several autarchs together or killed by a sovereign. But such a thing might not happen even if countless reincarnations passed. As for the sovereign, it had always been heaven alone. It had never changed. As for the chaos controller, it had never appeared before. But now, a single supreme artifact had annihilated 5 peak holy venerables with a light shake. How terrifying was this supreme artifact? And how terrifying was the autarch who had created it? After a long time, the power of Nuwas Temple gradually dissipated in the void. When the power completely disappeared, 5 illusory figures gradually appeared in the void, and finally solidified into real flesh and blood bodies. They were the holy venerables who had joined forces to take down Nuwas Temple. Even their saint godheads had been annihilated, but they were still alive? Not only had they recovered their flesh and blood bodies, but even their cultivation realm hadn't changed. This was an immortal sage. If it was a god, even if it was a quasi-saint, after being annihilated like this, there wouldn't be anything left of them. After the 5 of them recovered, they looked at each other and saw the shock in each other's eyes. Only they knew that although they had recovered their original strength, the loss was so great that it had almost shaken their foundation. There was no other way. If they hadn't recovered, they could only wait for death. Losing their foundation was better than dying. Rumble. After the 5 of them recovered, a monstrous hand suddenly reached out from the distant holy world and grabbed at Nuwas Temple. The aura was so strong that it was even stronger than Nuwas Temple. A autarch. The 5 holy venerables roared in anger. Their bodies flickered and they shot into the distance. If a autarch intervened, there was no way they could do anything. When a autarch and a supreme artifact clashed, even the aftershock of the power could kill them. Sensing the threat from a certain autarch, Nuwas Temple trembled even more violently. Waves of aura that were millions of times more terrifying than the 5 holy venerables from before erupted, and wildly annihilated the chaos space. At this time, the 5 holy venerables had already charged into the distance. At this time, the autarch's terrifying hand finally clashed with Nuwas Saint artifact. Boom! After a shocking explosion, with the tower as the center, hundreds of God worlds' chaos space were shattered by the aftershock of the power. Moreover, the terrifying aftershock of the power was still blasting into the distance at an extremely fast speed, and it wildly annihilated everything. Puff, although they'd already retreated a very, very far distance, the 5 holy venerables were still struck by the terrifying aura, and they spat out mouthfuls of blood. Their bodies were almost completely shattered. The 5 of them were horrified, but they still shot into the distance as quickly as they could. Far behind them, the autarch's hand clashed with Nuwas Temple, and both were sent flying. However, the autarch's hand soon shook again, shattering the chaos space and grabbing at Nuwas Temple. At this time, Nuwas Temple was still rapidly retreating. After all, it was only a supreme artifact, and couldn't compare to a true autarch. Moreover, because it didn't have a master, it couldn't unleash its true power. Thus, it was directly repelled. Whoosh, perhaps because it sensed the autarch's terrifying strength, Nuwas Temple continued to shoot into the distance. During this process, it rapidly shrank. Then, with a violent shake, it shattered the void and disappeared into thin air. It was gone. In the instant that Nuwas Temple disappeared, a man appeared out of thin air. He stared at the temple with a dark expression. This was the autarch who had just attacked. 5 ants. The male autarch turned his head and looked in another direction. His gaze seemed to sweep across the endless chaos space. At this moment, the 5 saint sovereigns who were shooting into the distance suddenly felt as if their bodies had been electrocuted. Their flesh and blood were in excruciating pain, and their hair stood on end. Their bodies and souls felt as if they were about to explode. The 5 of them were horrified, and they sped up even more. The male autarch in the distance snorted coldly, and stretched out his hand towards them. Whoosh! The 5 saint sovereigns, who were countless god realms away from the autarch, suddenly felt a powerful force acting on their bodies. The scene before them changed, and in the next moment, they appeared in front of the male autarch, who had an icy expression on his face. At this moment, their eyes were filled with terror. In the instant that Nuwa's temple disappeared, Murong-Yu suddenly saw the chaotic space in front of him split open, and a blinding golden light shot out from the crack. Is there another world up ahead? Murong-Yu was overjoyed. But just as he was about to go over, he saw a huge golden pagoda smashing through the turbulent space and rapidly bombarding him. Murong-Yu let out a strange cry, and raised his speed to the limit, retreating explosively. Chapter 10:20. Nuwa's Temple. Nuwa's temple had forcibly broken through the void of the chaotic space and escaped the attack of an autarch. But now it had charged directly into the chaotic space. Moreover, it just so happened to appear right in front of Murong-Yu. Was this a coincidence? Or? Murong-Yu didn't know. He had no idea what the Golden Tower was. He only saw Nuwa's temple charging straight at him. Instinctively, he unleashed his speed and fled into the distance. During this process, the golden gourd that Murong-Yu had obtained, which had remained motionless all this time, began to violently tremble. In the end, it rushed out of Murong-Yu's body with a whoosh. The golden gourd turned into a beam of golden light. It cut through the void of the turbulent space and rushed straight to the falling tower. Then, it charged straight into the tower. At the same time, an incomparably vast wave of energy rushed down and enveloped Murong-Yu in an instant. That was a supreme artifact, a powerful artifact that could even kill a supreme expert of the holy venerable realm. If it wanted to kill Murong-Yu, there was no way Murong-Yu could escape. Thus, when Murong-Yu was enveloped by that wave of energy, his entire body disappeared with a swish. Murong-Yu felt the scenery in front of him change. In the next moment, he appeared in an unfamiliar space. This was a space not much different from the God realm. Tall mountains and flowing rivers, it was exactly the same as the outside world. However, the natural energy here was of an extremely high level. Murong-Yu tried to absorb it, but found that he couldn't absorb it at all. However, although the natural energy here was of a high level, it didn't give him much pressure. Murong-Yu could sense that even ordinary gods wouldn't be crushed by the natural energy here, which was of a much higher level than the natural energy of the God realm. Although the natural energy of the holy world was here, it didn't give him as much pressure as it did in the holy world. It was as if someone had used a great power to erase the pressure. Where is this? Is this the space of the tower? Murong-Yu was surprised at first, but he quickly regained his composure. Nuwa's holy temple. In Hichu Luoshu, Hichu cried out in surprise. Murong-Yu didn't know about Nuwa's holy temple, but he did. He knew a lot about Nuwa's sacred palace and Paragon Yu. However, although he was surprised, he did not tell Murong-Yu. He didn't know why Nuwa's sacred temple had suddenly sucked Murong-Yu in. After all, this was a supreme weapon, and it was of great importance. Before he knew the purpose of its arrival, Hichu had to maintain the highest level of vigilance. Otherwise, as long as Nuwa's sacred temple trembled slightly, Murong-Yu would have vanished into thin air. He would have been deader than dead. Someone seems to be calling out to me? Murong-Yu looked around and sensed that someone was calling out to him. That feeling was extremely weak. When Murong-Yu seriously tried to sense it, he couldn't feel it at all. Murong-Yu could only stroll forward, following the faint feeling in his heart as he continued forward. Before long, a palace appeared in front of him. It was a palace about the same size as a mortal's palace. The palace was very simple, but there was an extremely powerful but extremely weak aura faintly coming from it. However, although the aura was strong, it didn't give him any pressure. Therefore, Morong-yu walked straight up. Morong-yu didn't know what was going on, but he simply walked up and opened the palace's doors with a creak. Then, he stepped inside. The palace wasn't big, and it was even a little simple inside. It was empty. However, there was a statue that looked like a stone sculpture, with the body of a snake and the head of a human standing at the back of the palace. Beautiful! It was a statue of a woman with the body of a snake and the head of a human. When Morong-yu saw this statue, there was only one word in his mind: beautiful! How beautiful! Morong-yu couldn't describe it at all. He only felt that this woman's beauty could make any so-called beauty pale in comparison. Beautiful words like the most beautiful woman in the world, the most beautiful woman in the world, the most beautiful woman in the world, and the most beautiful woman in the world couldn't describe the beauty of this woman. It was just a statue, but it gave Morong-yu such a feeling. In Morong-yu's eyes, this statue seemed to come alive. Suddenly, an indescribably beautiful woman appeared in front of Morong-yu. It was no longer the body of a snake and the head of a human, but a complete beauty of the human race. However, at the same time, there was a noble temperament that couldn't be reached and couldn't be profaned. At the same time that this beautiful woman appeared, the original statue didn't seem to have changed. Could this woman be that statue? This thought appeared in Morong-yu's mind. Then, he was shocked and his figure instantly retreated. What's wrong with me? Could it be that I'm being controlled by her? Morong-yu's face was gloomy, and there was a lingering fear in his heart. It seemed that after entering this space, he was controlled by someone. Then, he mysteriously came to the front of the palace, pushed the door open, and finally entered the palace. Under normal circumstances, he would definitely check this space and confirm that there was no danger in the palace before opening it. Moreover, during this process, he would definitely summon the Hichu Luoshu and the Inyang Cauldron. However, he didn't do any of these. He only woke up when he saw this woman. Is this an illusion? This thought flashed through Morong-yu's mind, but he quickly rejected it. This wasn't an illusion. It was just that his mind was unknowingly being controlled. It was an untraceable control. Who was this woman? How could she be so terrifying? What if she wanted to kill him too much? Even if she wanted him to kill himself, wouldn't he? Morong-yu felt a lingering fear in his heart. At the same time, he looked at the beautiful woman with a vigilant expression. At this moment the woman suddenly spoke. Human, don't panic. I have no ill intentions towards you. Her voice was extremely pleasant to the ears. Even the sound of nature couldn't compare to 1/10,000th of this woman's voice. Moreover, when he heard this voice, Morong-yu felt a sense of familiarity, an uncontrollable sense of familiarity. Morong-yu snorted coldly. Although this woman said that she had no ill intentions towards him. However, people who said that they had no ill intentions usually didn't have any ill intentions. Who are you? Why did you bring me here? Morong-yu already knew that he had entered a tower that appeared out of thin air. I am Nuwa. The beautiful woman looked at Morong-yu and said slowly. Nuwa? Morong-yu's body shook violently. He didn't know what realm Nuwa was in. However, when he was in the mortal world, he had heard of the myths of Nuwa creating humans. Were human beings really created by Nuwa? Morong-yu felt a sudden impulse and couldn't help but blurt out, You are Nuwa, the creator of humans? Nuwa was stunned, then reacted and smiled. You can say so. Then aren't you the ancestor of humans? Morong-yu asked in a daze. Nuwa shook her head. Although she was a supreme being, a former supreme being. However, humans had existed long before she had appeared. The so-called creation of humans was probably a misunderstanding of something she had done in the past. Are you really Nuwa? Morong-yu asked in disbelief. She is indeed Nuwa, the creator of humans in your mortal world's myth. At this moment, Hichu's voice sounded in Morong Yu's ears. Nuwa didn't say anything and just nodded. After receiving Hichu's confirmation, Morong Yu was completely convinced. He immediately became excited. Who wouldn't be excited to see the ancestor who had created them? However, amidst his excitement, Morong Yu was puzzled again. Nuwa's strength was obviously extremely powerful. However, why had she come looking for him? Could it be that she wants to kill me first? Morong Yu's heart suddenly tightened. He had a chaotic celestial body. In the future, he would become a primal chaos controller. Once he became a primal chaos controller, he would be able to control everything. Everything about Nuwa would be under his control. If Morong Yu wanted to kill him, there was a high possibility of that happening. Human, I have no ill intentions towards you. Nuwa seemed to be able to read Morong Yu's words. She suddenly said this. An embarrassed expression appeared on Morong Yu's face. However, Nuwa continued, not only do I have no ill intentions towards you, but I also need your help. Morong Yu was puzzled. Senior Nuwa, your strength is far greater than mine. What can I do to help? Nuwa shook her head and smiled faintly. That was before. What you see now is just a wisp of my soul attached to my natal magic treasure. Morong Yu's eyes narrowed slightly. Although he didn't know what Nuwa's cultivation level was, since she could create humans, even if she wasn't as strong as a ruler, he believed that she was one of the top existences in the holy world. She had actually died? That's right, I've died. That's why I want to ask you to resurrect me. Morong Yu suddenly laughed helplessly. Senior Nuwa, you think too highly of me. I'm far weaker than even a saint. How can I resurrect you? You're a chaotic celestial. If you resurrect me, I'll do my best to assist you in the future. Your constitution will reach the peak. Nuwa suddenly said, looking straight at Morong Yu. Morong Yu's body trembled slightly. Promise her, Hichu said again. All right, I promise you. Morong Yu agreed without hesitation. Nuwa had prepared many words to persuade Morong Yu, but now she swallowed them back down. I can't help you much in the God realm. Come find me when you ascend to the holy world. I'll give you a great opportunity then. But before that, my natal magic treasure can only be attached to your body. Before she even finished speaking, Morong Yu felt the scenery in front of him change. Next, he saw himself reappear in space turbulence. Wait! Morong Yu roared, but Nuwa's sacred hall had already transformed into a streak of golden light and entered his body. Nuwa seemed to have fallen into a deep slumber. She couldn't hear Morong Yu's cries at all. Morong Yu immediately felt miserable. Chapter 10:21. Although Nuwa had already fallen, she was only a remnant soul. However, she was still an autarch when she was alive. Moreover, she had found Morong Yu in the turbulent space, so she naturally had a way to leave. However, Morong Yu didn't even have time to ask before he was kicked out of Nuwa's sacred hall by Nuwa. Moreover, Nuwa's remnant soul had also entered a state of deep sleep. How could Morong Yu not feel bitter? Let alone ascending to the holy realm, even leaving this place is a problem. Do I have to cultivate until I reach the peak of the quasi-saint realm, and then ascend directly? Even if I can ascend, when will I be able to break through by relying on the tree of life and the lightning divinity's energy? Although he has a long lifespan, there is still the possibility of his lifespan running out here. Just as Morong Yu was feeling bitter, a huge crack suddenly appeared in the space beside him. Then, a huge force enveloped his body, and before he could react, he was pulled into the spatial crack. The scenery in front of him changed rapidly, and a life aura that Morong Yu felt incomparably familiar rushed towards him. It was the aura of the God realm. Morong Yu immediately became excited. In the next moment, he was completely engulfed by the aura of the God realm. Not long after, he was spat out of the spatial crack and floated in the sky. The surrounding space was very stable, and rich energy of heaven and earth rushed towards him. There was no violent turbulence of the turbulent space, and there was no black, terrifying spatial turbulence. Murong-yu finally left the turbulent space. At the same time, a weak spiritual wave entered Murong-yu's ears. Murong-yu understood that Nuwa had helped him this time. Otherwise, he could only continue to wander in the turbulent space. Rumble, at this moment, Murong-yu suddenly saw countless strands of lightning energy between heaven and earth rushing into his body from all directions, gathering in the lightning divinity. The amount of lightning energy in the divine world was much more than the amount in the turbulent space. Although the speed at which the lightning divinity absorbed the power of lightning was far slower than the speed at which the tree of life absorbed the power of chaos, it was barely enough. Peak primal chaos god lattice. Peak lightning divinity. Now there was only one spatial godhead, and it was still at the peak stage heaven monarch realm. However, after his chaos and lightning godheads had broken through, the energy he could convert was many times more powerful than before. Adding on the fact that he could absorb spatial energy, his space godhead would also break through in no time. Let's go and see how many years have passed. How was the god realm? Did the monster clan start a war against the human clan? After Murong-yu checked his body, his figure flashed and left the place. Not long after, he appeared in a city. 10,000 years have already passed. The demon race didn't launch a war against the human race? Did Abyssal College also bow to Primeval College? Murong-yu asked around and got the information he wanted. However, what shocked him was that Abyssal College actually bowed to Primeval College. Who was that big shot from Primeval College? Was he really a saint? Could a saint be in the god realm? Moreover, Murong-yu heard that even the monster clan was intimidated by this person and didn't launch a war against the human clan for the time being. Hichu, are there really saints in the god realm? Murong-yu was puzzled and asked directly. Are there any gods in the divine world? There are usually no gods in the divine world. However, if a god suppresses his realm and seals his power, he can exist in the divine world. Otherwise, the space of the divine world will not be able to withstand the power of a god and will be shattered. Murong-yu said directly. If there really is a saint in the divine world, that saint must have sealed his realm and power. Otherwise, the divine world will collapse. However, he is a saint after all. Once the seal is released, he can destroy the entire divine world. Therefore, if Primeval College really has a saint, Abyssal College will have no choice but to bow down to him. Even the powerful monster clan can only be suppressed. Murong-yu's eyes flashed and disappeared from the city in a flash. When he reappeared, he was already back in Shenzhen. During this investigation, other than finding out about the major events, Murong-yu also found out that he was already dead. He knew that Zhao Jiqing and the others would be worried about him, so he came back immediately. However, when he returned to Shenzhen, he saw a different side. In the past, although there were many people cultivating in Shenzhen, most of them were not that nervous. They also didn't have that kind of strong mentality. However, now, most of the people were cultivating in seclusion. Those who weren't cultivating in seclusion were also communicating. Even Zhao Jiqing and the others were cultivating in seclusion. Everyone in Shenzhen was cultivating with all their might. Murong-yu felt very gratified about this. After all, Shenzhen's foundation was still weak. It was nothing in the divine world. As for the people who had ascended to the divine realm, their aptitudes were all top-notch. With the support of various pills and resources, if they worked hard, they would be able to raise their realm very quickly. This was because Murong-yu saw that other than the 100,000 people, there were many more Heavenly King realm experts in Shenzhen. These people were the geniuses of geniuses, the elites of the elite. In particular, Murong-yu's 4 children had all entered the peak of the Heavenly King realm. They were only one step away from surpassing Murong Yu and reaching the heavenly emperor realm first. Other than them, Zhao Jiqing and the other two girls, Li Ling, Duanmu Qing, and the others had also reached the heavenly king realm. These people were the geniuses of geniuses. Once they were determined to cultivate, their strength would increase very quickly. With the help of the comprehension state pill, they didn't have any bottlenecks at all. As for Glory Sect's two most arrogant and powerful demon clans, Big Black Dog and Fire Eye Golden Ape, these two fellows were not to be trifled with either. One had the inheritance of the heavenly demon god, and the other was the descendant of the heavenly dog. Their strength increased very quickly. Moreover, their battle prowess was definitely above many people of the same realm. Only one person didn't change. Little Z. Countless years had passed, and Little Z was still that cute little thing. She didn't grow up at all, and she didn't have any power. However, even so, it was as if she was immortal. There was no limit to her lifespan at all. Could it be that Little Z is an immortal saint? This thought suddenly flashed through Murong Yu's mind. However, he soon felt that this thought was too laughable. If Little Z was really an immortal saint, why would she find him? Moreover, when she was in the mortal world, Shua, speak of the devil and he will appear. Just as Murong Yu thought of Little Z had already broken through the air and directly jumped into Murong Yu's arms. Hee, big brother, you're back? Didn't I say you'd be fine? Little Z raised her head to look at Murong Yu with a smug smile. What's wrong? Murong Yu was stunned and asked. Sister Jiqing and the others all thought that something would happen to you. They all worked hard to cultivate, saying that they wanted to avenge you and help you share the burden. However, Little Z knew that Big Brother wouldn't die. Good people don't live long lives, but scourges live for 1,000 years. Listening to the words in front of him, Murong Yu was a little touched. However, it was quickly destroyed by Little Z's last sentence. What scourge live for 1,000 years? Am I a scourge? Murong Yu said with a dark face. Hee, not really. What I mean is that you won't die. However, I heard that wherever you go, those people will die. I don't know if that counts as a scourge? Little Z said with a smile. That's because they asked for it. Murong Yu glared at Little Z and then stepped into the sacred hall. Then, he swept out with his divine thought. Suddenly, everyone who was in seclusion opened their eyes. At the same time, their figures flashed and disappeared. When they reappeared, they were in the sacred hall. Woof, woof, woof! Master! The first to arrive was the Big Black Dog and the Fire-Eyed Golden Ape. These two fellas were not in closed-door training. Instead, they were sparring outside Glory Sect, fighting till the skies turned dark. When they received Murong Yu's divine sense, they immediately rushed back to him. After seeing Murong Yu, these two guys were so excited that they could not even speak. Little Black, come here. Seeing the Big Black Dog, Little Z's face suddenly showed a smile. She reached out and waved at the Big Black Dog. I ate something bad this morning. I need to go to the toilet. Seeing that the situation was not good, the Big Black Dog gave an excuse that was not an excuse and disappeared from the sacred hall. He did not know what was going on. Even though he had reached the peak of the heavenly king realm, Little Z was still his nemesis. As long as he was in front of Little Z, he would be suppressed. Otherwise, if it was anyone else, he would have sent them flying with his dog paw. Little Black, where are you going? Seeing the large black dog flee, Little Purple giggled. With a flash of her figure, she transformed into a streak of purple light and disappeared from the sacred palace. At the same time, Zhao Jiqing, Yu Mengqing, Murong Xian, and the others appeared in the sacred hall. Not long after, the sacred hall was filled with hundreds of people. These people were Murong Yu's relatives, Master Li Feng, Master Li Guo, and so on. Some were the core higher-ups of Shengzhen, Zhang Ao, Pei Peiyu, Duanmu Qing, and so on. After entering the sacred hall, no one spoke a word. Instead, Each and every one of them looked at Morong Yu in excitement. "Haha! Uncle, you're really not dead?" Li Ling was the last to rush in. He had just entered the sacred hall and had not even stood firm when he laughed loudly. "Li Ling, what are you talking about?" Li Feng's face instantly darkened as he slapped Li Ling away. Although Li Ling was much stronger than Li Feng, who asked Li Feng to be his father, he did not dare to fight back. Chapter 10:22. This time I've caused everyone to worry. I'm sorry. After everyone had arrived, Morong Yu suddenly stood up and formally apologized to everyone. Apologize? Why did he apologize? Everyone was shocked. Then, someone said, "Holy Lord, you've always been the one working hard. Everything that Shenzhen has been built by you. Other than wasting resources, what else can we do? Holy Lord, you've been bullied by Abyssal College, but we didn't dare to say anything. We couldn't do anything at all. We can't accept this. Therefore, we must work hard and become stronger. As long as Shenzhen becomes stronger, Abyssal College won't dare to touch us. We can even destroy them directly. We're still weak now. We can't do anything else other than become stronger. Only by becoming stronger can we protect ourselves. Only then will others not dare to touch Shenzhen. Moreover, Holy Lord, you've done too many things for us. The reason why we are where we are today is all because of you. Everything we have is because of you. We've always accepted it. We've also accepted too much. We also need to do something. Let's make Shenzhen stronger together. Moreover, Holy Lord, you don't have to apologize. We should be the ones apologizing." At this point, other than Morong Yu's relatives, all the higher-ups of Shenzhen bowed deeply to Morong Yu. Morong Yu felt a slight warmth in his heart. He was touched. Although Shenzhen was a force that he had built up with his own hand, it was his duty to work hard for Shenzhen. However, if everyone in Shenzhen felt that it was natural and no one was grateful, Morong Yu would feel cold in his heart. Of course, there weren't many people in Shenzhen who were like that. After this incident, the entire Shenzhen entered a state of cultivation. In other words, many of Shenzhen's disciples were grateful to Morong Yu. Otherwise, why would they want to take revenge for Morong Yu after seeing him? Shenzhen belongs to everyone. We should do our best to strengthen Shenzhen. This is our common task. Morong Yu raised his hands and gestured for everyone to rise. Then, he briefly recounted his experiences over the years. Of course, he only said that the lightning secret area suddenly collapsed and he entered the turbulent space. He finally obtained the lightning core. He didn't mention anything about meeting Nuwa. It wasn't that he didn't trust in everyone. It was just that those matters were too important. If they knew about it, it would only bring about a fatal disaster for them. Turbulent space. When they heard that Morong Yu had actually wandered in the turbulent space for 10,000 years, everyone in the temple couldn't help but suck in a breath of cold air. One was because Morong Yu's physical body was so strong that even the turbulent space couldn't do anything to him. The other was because the turbulent space was terrifying. If it wasn't for Morong Yu's good luck, he might not even have the chance to return to the God realm. So, everyone must never enter the turbulent space in the future. If you haven't reached the level of quasi-saint, or if you haven't reached the level of a supreme-grade God artifact, you will be instantly killed if you enter the turbulent space. Moreover, even if you have reached the level of a quasi-saint or a supreme-grade God artifact, don't try to enter the turbulent space, because there's no energy to absorb in there. You will only be killed by the turbulent space if you get too close. Everyone fell silent. Previously, they only knew that the turbulent space was terrifying. However, after listening to Morong Yu's personal experience and explanation, they realized that the turbulent space was much more terrifying than they imagined. Morong Yu spent 10 days reuniting with Zhao Jiqing and the others. After 10 days, he returned to Primeval College. "Who is it?" Don't bother me if there's nothing important. As soon as Murong Yu stepped into Xiang Sungwu's courtyard, Xiang Sungwu's somewhat irritated voice came from the room. Because of Murong Yu, Xiang Sungwu had been irritated for 10,000 years. Every time he thought that Murong Yu might be dead, he couldn't help but want to rush to Abyssal College and kill everyone there. Murong Yu's talent was simply too heaven-defying. If they were given time to nurture him, he would most likely become a saint. What did it mean to become a saint? Others might not know, but he knew that if they had another saint on their side, they might be able to reverse the situation. Whether or not Murong Yu became a saint was not only related to Primeval College, it was also related to the survival of the human race. However, there had been no news of Murong Yu for more than 10,000 years. Moreover, during this process, his soul jade slip had constantly cracked. Xiang Sungwu and the others were almost certain that Murong Yu was dead. In these years, Primeval College and Abyssal College had mobilized a large number of forces to search for Murong Yu, but there was no news at all. Apart from them, the entire God Realm was searching for Murong Yu. They didn't care about Murong Yu's life or death, they only cared about Murong Yu's saint weapon. Old man Xiang, you're already so old, why are you still so irritable? A familiar voice sounded. Xiang Sungwu was stunned at first, but then his face was filled with ecstasy. His figure flickered and appeared in the courtyard, then he saw Murong Yu. Is it really you? Xiang Sungwu looked at Murong Yu with an excited face. He almost went up and pinched Murong Yu to confirm whether he was really Murong Yu or not. Old man Xiang, I haven't seen you for a few days. Not only have you become irritable, but your eyesight has also gone bad? Murong Yu looked at Xiang Sungwu with a smile on his face. Come in and talk. Xiang Sungwu said in a low voice, then disappeared from the courtyard. Murong Yu smiled and walked in. What? You've actually been wandering in the spatial turbulence for nearly 10,000 years? After hearing this news, Xiang Sungwu could not help but be stunned. A trace of horror flashed in the depths of his eyes. Unlike Shengzhen's people, he was even more terrifying in the spatial turbulence. Murong Yu was able to wander in the spatial turbulence for over 10,000 years and finally returned to the God Realm. How powerful was Murong Yu? Could it be because of that sacred artifact? Xiang Sungwu asked. Murong Yu was stunned, then nodded. Even if his physical body was strong, after wandering for over 10,000 years, if he did not have the support of power, he would have been killed long ago. But if he brought out the sacred artifact, anything could happen. No one would suspect that he could absorb power or anything like that. So you have the protection of the sacred artifact. Otherwise, you really gave me a fright. Xiang Sungwu breathed a sigh of relief. He was really frightened. Murong Yu smiled helplessly in his heart. But even so, it's best that you don't leak this out. Just say that after the lightning zone broke, you were ejected into an unknown danger zone in the God Realm. It took you 10,000 years to leave that danger zone. Old fox. Murong Yu looked at Xiang Sungwu and said. Xiang Sungwu immediately glared at him. I'm thinking for your sake. Okay, I know you care about me. But Abyssal College really did want to kill me back then. As soon as I entered the lightning zone, Abyssal College's students attacked me. Sooner or later, I'll settle this account with them. Right? Don't we have a saint in Primeval College? Why don't we just destroy Abyssal College? Murong Yu asked in confusion. Xiang Sungwu shook his head. How could it be that simple? As he spoke, Xiang Sungwu pointed to the sky. There are people from Abyssal College up there? Murong Yu frowned. Xiang Sungwu nodded. There are people up there in the 4 great academies. Otherwise, how could the 4 great academies have been able to coexist peacefully for so long? Apart from the 4 great academies, there are also people up there in the Yao race. Moreover, the Yao race is quite strong and has always wanted to exterminate the human race. Murong Yu's eyes narrowed. So, the Yao race's intention to attack the human race and start a war might have been incited by the higher-ups? What are the higher-ups like? Xiang Sungwu shook his head. He only had a vague idea of what was going on. What were the specifics? No one in the God realm knew. Therefore, he couldn't answer Morong Yu's question. Seeing that Xiang Sungwu didn't answer, Morong Yu didn't continue to dwell on this question. As long as he was strong enough, he would naturally know these things. So he changed the topic. Old Xiang, is there really a saint in our primeval college? Is it really a saint and not a quasi-saint? You'll know in the future. Xiang Sungwu smiled faintly, but Morong Yu felt a headache coming on. You don't know anything. I'll go find Fan Tong and the others first. They still don't know that I'm back, Morong Yu said, then turned and left. When he reached the door, he paused again. Old man Xiang, am I only worth 10 secret planes? More than 100, right? Xiang Sungwu was stunned, then reacted and said with a laugh, You're indeed worth more than that. It's time for Abyssal College to bleed. Before he could finish his sentence, the two of them had already disappeared. Fan Tong and the others aren't here? When Morong Yu came to Fan Tong, Kurlan and the others' courtyard, he didn't see them. Finally, Morong Yu found Qin Xiaowei. Haha, you really didn't die. Qin Xiaowei greeted him with a laugh. Morong Yu had already sent him a message when he returned to Primeval College, so he was already waiting outside the courtyard. Big brother Morong. A voice like the sound of nature sounded in Morong Yu's ears, a fragrant wind blew, and a young girl walked out of the room with a face full of joy. Xiao Xian? Morong Yu was stunned. This young girl was the Xiao Xian who took care of Morong Yu in the ghost village, Qin Xiaowei's sister. Big brother Morong doesn't seem happy to see me? Seeing Morong Yu's dumbfounded expression, Xiao Xian furrowed her adorable brows and said unhappily, Why would I? I'm just a little surprised. Morong Yu laughed. At the same time, Xiang Sungwu, the bloody butcher, and a few other big shots from Primeval College had once again set foot on Tianwang mainland. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.